Yes, it is. A very good morning to you. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3. Yes, you have chosen the right way to start your Tuesday. And it's not just any Tuesday on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Today, it's all about health. Welcome. My name is Zoe Brown-Anderson, and we're going to put the spotlight on our health. And first up, we're going to discuss the National Health Insurance, which is the NHI bill that was signed by our President Cyril Ramaphosa last Wednesday. Now, our legal expert, Eitan Stern, he's going to join us to break it down for you. We're going to take a look at the pros as well as the cons and why this bill is considered so controversial. And then we have someone extraordinary to introduce you to. You're going to meet Nozi Kamkana Mayaba, who has written a book, and it's titled Positively Me, Daring to Live and Love Beyond HIV. She's going to talk about her approach on her life after finding out that she is HIV positive. And of course, we're going to have a beautiful sit down with her and really just get to know the lady behind that beautiful smile. And then entertaining us this morning is the ever so talented Villi Vula. Not only is he a singer, but he's also a makeup artist and a photographer, an all-round 10 in all aspects. Well, that is just some of the things coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show between now and 9 o'clock. Another thing is perhaps you now have your own moment to dress our very own Ken in helping him pick an outfit.
Listen, I think the Ken is a hard sell this time of the day. Zozo, we love you just for saying that. Yes, happy to be settling in with the gals this morning, but both of them are looking exquisite. So, yes, good morning, and thank you for joining us, and please help me out here. I've got to level up my style game just a little bit, and we've got two beautiful winter looks here, dressed up and dressed down just a little bit. So let's act a little bit more professional and dip into our chinos. Absolutely love the look. We've got a beautiful, they call it deep grey. I'm saying it's drifting towards maybe a deep grey blue. A beautiful zip-up jersey, great teal shirts. We've got some nice relaxed chinos that still kind of give you a bit of an edge, and some relaxed boots there. Love the brown leather. And then we can take it down a size, and we're just going to relax in a beautiful crew neck, a nice kind of olive green and khaki striped pullover jersey. We've got our joggers and some nice white trainers. I love both looks. They kind of point me in a different direction for the day, but I love both of these vibes. So you can let us know on our socials which one do you think is going to carry me through the next 3 hours and hopefully put me on some sort of level similar to the ladies, because they do look gorgeous this morning. But lest we forget, we've got a lot to chew on. So I want to feel good this morning as we embrace some amazing people, some amazing stories, and a whole lot of fun. So let us know on the Expresso socials. Are we going with option 1 or option 2? The choice is yours.
Big love is in the tiny details. Every second, every look, every stitch. The details make the difference.
Oh man, gee, listen, whenever you mention chinos, I have to choose that specific option. I am taken by option 1. I think you're going to look absolutely lovely in it. As we said, you're our Ken, and I know you'll look good in anything, but number 1, that's where I am. Good morning, everybody. Hello, my Expresso family. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, where you deserve to be, all in the name of starting off your morning on the perfect note. We're coming to you live from the Samsung showroom at Design Quarter in Johannesburg. And this morning, as you can hear, we got so many amazing people, but I also know that we got a great conversation coming up in the next bit. But first and foremost, we want to hear from you on the social media streets. Let's do it. Our good morning post this morning is about what Zoe mentioned earlier on, which is our National Health Insurance Bill. It was newly signed by our president not too long ago, and this is why we want to hear from you on our voice notes, 063-408-8863, as well as all over social media, #Expresso Show. Do you think, my love, it'll be mostly helpful or mostly harmful? Which side are you on? What do you believe when it comes to it? We want to know your thoughts, and today we're doing it for our Good Morning Post. Make sure you come through that voice note or on #Expresso Show all over social media. We got so much to get through, so let's take care of business at the top of the hour. The beautiful Zoe is standing by with your news headlines.
Thank you, Zanele. Let's jump straight into our national headlines. The Independent Electoral Commission, the IEC, has welcomed yesterday's Constitutional Court decision to uphold the Commission's earlier disqualifications of Jacob Zuma's candidacy. The IEC said the order cleared the way for final preparations ahead of the elections. A statement by the IEC read, and I quote, "Now that the matter has been settled by the highest court and given that the constitutional uncertainties have been clarified, the Commission can continue with final preparations for free and fair 2024 national and provincial elections single-mindedly without apprehension that the elections are susceptible to challenge." And that's the end of the quote. Staying with our local news, the KwaZulu-Natal Justice Crime Prevention and Security Cluster says extra police officers have been deployed across the province ahead of next week's elections. Some 17,000 police officers are deployed at the 4,900 voting stations around the province. Provincial Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Makwanazi says Mongomo and the Durban Metro are top of the list of areas regarded as high risk because of previous intolerance and political killings. He said 4.2% of voting stations in the province are regarded as high risk. We now move to news beyond our own border. Kenya's economy grew by 5.6% in 2023 from a revised 4.9% in the previous year, the head of the Statistics Office said yesterday. The East African nation's economy relies on farming, which contributes more than a fifth of annual economic output, and abundant rains after years of drought helped the sector to recover from contractions in the previous 2 years. Tourism, which is another key sector, also posted growth, with visitors arriving surpassing the annual pre-pandemic level of 2.035 million to 2.087 million visitors last year. And the director of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, maintained a minute's silence at an international conference on nuclear safety in Vienna following the death of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi in a helicopter accident. Raisi, widely regarded as the successor to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed along with 7 others when the helicopter crashed in a mountainous area near the Azerbaijan border. The relationship between Iran and the Atomic Energy Agency is relatively strained due to Iran's continued uranium enrichment, which the agency says is enough for 2 nuclear weapons. And a billionaire-backed non-profit has begun relocating captive-bred southern white rhinos in South Africa after acquiring the world's largest privately owned herd last year in Northwest Province. African parks, supported by international foundations like Howard Buffett's and the Walton families, donated 40 of the 2,000 rhinos to the Muniwana Conservancy in KwaZulu-Natal. This is the first step in a plan to relocate 15% of the global southern white rhino population. African Parks, managing 22 conservation areas across 12 African countries, aims to restore rhinos to their natural ranges. African Parks plans to relocate some 300 rhinos annually. And to quote, "The success of rewilding these rhinos depends on safe, effectively managed areas such as Muniwana." And that's the end of the quote from Peter Fernhead, the CEO. Well, that is where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take a first look at your sport.
From rhinos to goats, we move. So who is replacing Liverpool's goat? That's where we jump off for our sporting report this morning. And it would seem that Feyenoord coach Arne Slot has now been confirmed as Jurgen Klopp's successor at Liverpool by the Premier League club. So the 45-year-old Dutchman will assume his new role of head coach on the 1st of June, pending a work permit. So it's all happening very fast. And although the club statement did not detail the length of his contract, it's reported that Slot has signed a 3-year deal. He had announced his move to Anfield at his final pre-match press conference with Feyenoord on Friday, and he replaces Jurgen Klopp following the German's departure announcement in January. Now, bringing it back home for rugby news, Griquas will be hosting the SA Cup final this week in Kimberley, facing the Pumas following the conclusion of the round-robin phase of the competition. So Griquas secured their home final by defeating the Cheetahs 39-17 in Bloemfontein. Meanwhile, the Pumas, they ensured their spot in that final with a 40 43-14 dominance over the Griffins at the Mbombela Stadium. So Griquas, unbeaten and topping the log with 45 points, will be hosting the second-place Pumas, who finished with 41 points. As you can see on the log, the SA Cup final between the Griquas and Pumas will be staged on Saturday, the 25th of May in Kimberley. Go and support some very exciting free-flowing rugby. We love it. And we love the fact that Rafa's back on clay. So Rafa Nadal drew a substantial crowd at Roland Garros on Monday for a training session, despite the uncertainty surrounding his actual participation in the upcoming French Open. The 14-time French Open champion practiced on the central court, attracting several thousand spectators just for the practice session. This marked his return to the Parisian clay court since his last title win back in 2022, when he played through the tournament with his left foot anaesthetized to manage the pain from Müller-Weiss syndrome, now a chronic condition that he's endured since the age of 18. The French Open main draw gets underway on the 26th of May, and it's going to be a cracker looking at the current ecosystem in tennis. Now let's focus on athletics, and a very proud moment for Prudence Sagodiso, who delivered an outstanding performance at the Seoul Diamond League meet held on African soil this season. The 22-year-old dominated the women's 800-meter, maintaining control throughout the race and then making a decisive move down that home straight to outpace Ethiopia's Olympic finalist Habita Malemu. Sagodiso's winning time of 1 minute 57.26 seconds not only marked a significant personal best for her, but also secured her first Diamond League victory and just a little bit of money, and set the fastest women's 800-meter time in the world this season. These are the kind of markers you want to see ahead of the Olympics. That's where we leave our sport for now. It's a brand new day. Let's get our download on the weather front.
Thank you, Graham. Well, the South African Weather Service has again issued a yellow level 2 warning for damaging waves, cautioning that coastal users may be swept off low-lying rocks and face navigation difficulties at sea, particularly between Saldanha Bay and Cape Agulhas. Moreover, an extremely high fire danger warning has been issued again for the second day for Beaufort West Municipality in the Western Cape, the western and central parts of the Eastern Cape, and the central parts of the Northern Cape. And remember to share a beautiful sunrise view with us. Our number is 063-408-8863. Let's take a look at your temperatures for your Tuesday.
It looks like winter has kicked in Uppington. I'm sorry, I will stop. At some point this year, I will stop. Maybe when you drop below 30. It's mixed weather across the land, so just to take care of that by staying indoors for the next 3 hours, and we've got you covered. We're going to be introducing you to an incredible individual who has written what sounds like a beautiful book, maybe a potential life path that will give you those gems to take on the biggest challenges that you face. And we cannot wait to introduce you to Nozi's story and the message that she is bringing.
Definitely. And then, of course, we're going to take a look at our own health, how you can look after your nails, hair and skin. All those tips on its way, so don't go anywhere.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
To you, Expresso family, you're on your Feel Good Breakfast show right here on S3. And it is so good to be with you, especially when we are sitting with the caliber of the person that we are sitting with today. I am talking about an absolute queen, someone who inspires us. And I feel like this morning, we're going to get the motivation we need to just really conquer the rest of the week. I am talking about Nozbele Kamgana Mayaba. She is somebody who has taken absolutely everything that she's gone through and made it the story that inspires those who are affected by it and not. And today we are celebrating her because we are talking about her incredible new book, which is Positively Me, Daring to Live and Love Beyond HIV. And my friend, I am talking about someone who is a mom. She is a YouTuber. She is someone that is internationally recognized for her podcasting. On top of all of that, she also continues to make absolutely everyone laugh because she is somebody who has the most infectious laugh in South Africa. But more than anything else, after finding out about her diagnosis in 2013, she has come out and told absolutely everyone about what it's meant to her to get over depression and so much more. Please, everybody, let's give her a feel-good welcome. It is Nozi!
Listen, I'm going to come in here every morning because of that introduction. That's me up also.
Girl, this energy, please bring it. Now you said you're coming every morning, so you have to.
Okay, actually no.
Okay, that's fine, Nozi. Will you come visit us again, though?
I will.
Thank you. Nozi, I'm such a big fan of you.
I'm a big fan of you.
Oh, stop it. Babe, you're incredible. The way in which you tell your story, the way that you live life to its fullest, and more than anything else, the way that you continue to inspire people. I think that's why everybody loves you so much.
Thank you so much.
But let's go to the beginning, please, because of course this started somewhere, right? In 2013, you found out about your diagnosis. Please speak to us about, what you were going through at that time and how it is that you actually got over the depression that you went through at that time.
Yeah, I was at work 2013 August. It's actually going to be 11 years this year. And I was at work and participating in a wellness day event, and they encouraged us to go and test. Part of the testing is also for HIV.
Yes.
So I was very surprised when the nurse told me that I was HIV positive. HIV is something that I was exposed to in terms of, what it is, how to take care of yourself. But it hits differently when it comes, closer to home, particularly yourself.
Definitely.
So immediately I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose weight, and what people are going to say, how am I going to explain this? And I think the most heartbreaking thing was the fact that I felt I could not disclose to my family, because, I come from a very conservative, very churchy home, and I thought it would kill my mom. So for about 6 years, I hid my status to my family. I only told my mom, I think it was 2019, when I decided that, I've been living in the shadows for quite some time, and there was a part of me that wanted to regain my power back. I didn't want to suffer in silence, and that was the first time I told her, and that was hard.
I can
imagine.
Really hard.
But I'm so grateful that looking back, my story has turned out to be more positive than negative, and hence Positively Me, that I get to also see her in action where she uses my story to counsel other moms that are in a similar situation.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh gosh, there was a worst thing that could have happened, but it turned out so good.
Oh,
it
man.
turned out so good.
And Nozi, I feel like you're the person that, has really allowed so many people to be able to be like, yes, I do have it, I'm okay, and I'm living life to the fullest.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to ask you, even now that you just shared about your mom, counseling other moms as well, you saying you come from a conservative family, are they 100% okay with you sharing your story so openly?
Absolutely. But also I think there's an appreciation that there is a part of the story that's mine that unfortunately they cannot control it, right? So there is an appreciation that, okay, she's going to go public, what is everyone going to say? But also it's her story. It's my story to tell. So there's a level of umama being on the background cheering me on, and I think that's what I appreciate the most.
Oh, man. And it's so beautiful when parents are able to do that and just support our decisions.
Yes.
So I want to go to the decision that you made when you made the video and you put it out there and you were like, guys, this is me and this is what I'm living with right now. I want to ask you, how did life change after you put out that video?
Okay, so I thought it was going to be, watched by a couple of people that know me from back home and, just know me, a handful. I didn't realize how it would actually even transcend beyond our country in South Africa. people from China. I was like, I've never even been to China, Brazil,
my
everywhere.
word.
But I was so happy because I was like, oh gosh, I'm really happy that people can relate to my story,
Yes.
because you never know. You never know who may be able to relate to the story, be inspired by it.
Yeah.
So I was just honored that I was able to inspire and motivate people in that way to live positively, and the fact that your diagnosis doesn't define who you are, and it doesn't choose any gender or any racial, you know, color or whatever the case may be. There's no face to what HIV is. You know, I walk into a room and people are like, well, you do not look like. I'm like, how
does
how
it
are you
look?
supposed
How
to
must
look
I
like?
look, my
Okay.
babes?
So I think that was the one thing that I was trying to destigmatize what we've known to what HIV should be.
Yes, and babes, you've done such a great job of
Thank
it,
you.
honestly. And even you just saying that you didn't know how far it was going to go, I got goosebumps, because that's incredible. You know, sometimes people put things out there and they're like, I think it'll do this, or I wanted to do this. But the fact that for you, it was also just so organic and how so many people could
Absolutely.
relate. That's so
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yes.
But now, you are somebody who's not just a podcaster, not just a YouTuber. You are an author 3 times, baby.
better now.
That's right. This is your 3rd book now. So tell us, my love, you know, when we talk about the differences between your books,
Yes.
what makes this one so different to the first 2?
Well, a lot has happened over the last 5 years. I got married, I became a mom, and juggling all of this, it's been quite interesting, right? But I think what's mostly, you know, significant about the book, it goes beyond the HIV diagnosis, because I felt like I wouldn't be doing justice to my story if I didn't tell my mom's story, or the fact that who I am is influenced largely by where I come from, the complex relationship that I had with my absent father, and the fact that a part of this overly the top personality is because there was a sense of I wanted validation and some kind of acknowledgement that was absent when I was growing up. So I would walk into a room and feel like I need to be overly the top so that people can recognize who I am, because my father didn't. So I go so deeply into that our circumstances and where we come from influence the people that we are, and how we pave the way forward. So I think that's the beauty about it, that it doesn't focus on only the HIV diagnosis. There's so many parts of the book that I know you will find yourself in it.
Sure, Nozi, that is so powerful. And especially because I'm like, for you to say all the things that you're saying now and understanding that about yourself, you had to do a lot of healing.
Absolutely.
And a lot of introspection.
That was messy.
I can imagine. I can imagine. You know, that was messy. I can imagine, but also, babe, I think it's so incredible and it's so beautiful that healing you is now healing so many other people.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
That's the part I enjoy. Literally the first you know, page on the book, it says, may you find parts of yourself in this book.
Wow.
Because I honestly feel there's so much of my journey that you will definitely relate to. There'll be that moment like, this is exactly what I was trying to say.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so Nozi, tell us, where can we get Positively Me? How much? Tell us everything we need to know.
Okay, it is available on all major bookstores. Like literally everywhere. It's 310 Rand. However, online they are running, like Take a Lot, Loot, they are running a special. So please head over to there. It did like go out of stock a couple of times, but we did restock. So
Love it.
please make sure that you go and buy. It needs to be on bestseller.
That's right, and
Number
it will
one.
be. And it will be. Thank you very much. One last thing. What do you still have in store for us?
Oh my
2024?
goodness, there's so much. I'm working on TV. I'm working with my podcast again. We're going into season 3.
Come on.
So yeah, there's a couple of things on the pipeline, but you'll have to see.
I was gonna say she's acting all like shy and stuff. Oh please, this is a queen. And also, don't forget international podcast. Okay,
thank you
please
very
respect
much.
it. Thank you. Her name is Nozi, and honestly, as you can tell, she is a firecracker baby, making sure that she is explosive everywhere she goes. And I think it's so beautiful that it is all in the name of impact and making a difference. It is Positively Me, daring to live and love with HIV, or rather, daring to live and love, forgive me, beyond HIV. Did you with me? It's beyond. Beyond. Thank you very much. And more than anything else, I definitely know that we will be taking something from this beautiful book. My Feel Good Breakfast Show family, you better stay exactly where you are, because we still have so much more in store. Right about now, I know that Cape Town is standing by. Hello, my Graham and my Zoe.
I love it. Life gives you the pen, life gives you the paper, but you write your own story. I love that, Nozi. Thank you so much for being brave enough to put yourself out there like that. Now, we love it when we get to start a day with this kind of notion. You can win big today, life-changing big, life-changing for your community big. We are talking about Powerball and Powerball Plus sitting at an estimated jackpot of 71 million rand today, and it could be yours, but you've got to play. So you can play Powerball for an estimated 49 million rand, and for a little smidgen more, you can play Powerball Plus, estimated at 22 million rand as well. But as always, if you want to win, you actually have to play, and we try to make it as easy as possible.
We are indeed. In fact, there are so many ways for you to buy your tickets, so head on over to Day in Store. That's one way to buy. Another way is online at the nationallottery.co.za website or the mobile app. You can also buy tickets through your cell phone banking or simply by dialing *120 *7529 hash for USSD. And we've posted all of those details on Expresso social media pages, so you can just go in there and find them, because you have to panda, push or play Powerball and Powerball Plus for that 71 million rand in total estimated jackpots today. How exciting.
I love it. I think my face was punctuating everything you were saying there, because that is a lot of money. So you can ponder what you're going to spend it on. You can start randomizing your numbers, and all the best of luck. But I would urge that you don't race out of your house just yet, because we've got so much packed into today's show. And we're going to have a whole lot of fun with that, especially awarding a very special mother out there. Just a dose of care, a dose of love. 2,000 rand could be coming to you.
Oh, and we're going to give you all the advice you need on healthy skin, hair and nails. So that and a whole lot more on its way.
Drained? Dehydrated? You have lost more than just fluid. Recover faster. Add Rehydrate, SA's #1 oral electrolyte mixture.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Now this morning we dive into the world of healthy skin, hair and nails, tackling topics from acne to hair loss and brittle nails, something that I think most of us can relate to. And joining us this morning is Laura Johnston, Marketing Director and Nutritionist at Phytoceutics, and dermatologist Dr. Lauren Knight. All I can say is get ready to uncover the secrets of prevention and overcoming these challenges for radiant beauty from within, because that's what it's all about. When we look at hair, skin and nails, the connection between those and a diet.
So what you do on the inside really reflects on the outside. And if you don't follow a healthy diet, you're not getting all the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, proteins that you need in order to nourish your hair, your skin, and your nails. So it's really important to follow a healthy diet. Drink a lot of water. Obviously, dehydration makes your skin look dull. Smoking and alcohol are incredibly detrimental to your cells, which can, cause premature aging. And sugar is also incredibly inflammatory, so it damages cells, it can cause breakouts. So a diet low in sugar is recommended.
Yeah, and it's just incredible to see because a lot of people looking for those the outside fixes. What can I do? My hair is dry, it's not so well, so what can I put on it? Is there anything I can? What can I put on my nails? Or what creams can I use? But it's an internal thing, right? I mean, I don't think we put enough emphasis on that.
And a lot of what you do now, ensuring that you have the right nutrient levels and you maintain those nutrient levels can help ensure that your skin is healthier and more youthful for longer, and your nails are healthier and stronger, and you maintain your hair for longer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the mindset here is that this is not a quick fix. This is a journey.
I think that's exactly, to the point that what happens on the inside often reflects on the outside. And it's perfect or fine when everything's in a balance, but often we see this dysregulation that then manifests with actually disease on our skin, hair, and nails. So it's a nice way to check in with yourself, a visible way to check in. And if we speak about acne, most commonly people would have heard about zinc supplementation. Problem is sometimes you don't always get to exactly the levels that has been shown in clinical studies, but can potentially work in some instances. What is really showing to be very promising is the use of omega-3 as an anti-inflammatory to decrease our lesional counts in acne. And the word microbiome is really having its time in terms of gut, skin, hair, nails. So a probiotic is always very useful, as it's been shown with people who suffer from acne actually have a dysregulation in their gut microbiome. If we think about hyperpigmentation, something that so many people suffer from, and it's really, really difficult to treat. So we're really always looking for things of a multi-angled approach to treating hyperpigmentation. So yes, you want a diagnosis, you want to be on optimal treatment, but supplementations really do help. And this is where antioxidants have their day. So your vitamin A, C, and niacinamide, glutathione, and there's new ingredients like polypodium leucotonis that has a lot of scientific evidence behind its use for melasma, as well as other sun-induced disorders. But I think where nutraceutics or vitamin supplementation really have their day is in hair loss. So it's really well documented that certain deficiencies like your iron, your vitamin D, your vitamin C deficiencies manifest with what we call a telogen effluvium, so a temporary hair loss, and definitely supplementing or replacing these vitamins is going to cure your hair loss. And then hair loss is a symptom. So there's a lot of conditions, polycystic ovarian syndrome, thyroid disease, where hair loss is going to be a manifestation of that disease. And we know there's a number of nutrients that are needed to support the management of those conditions.
Nutraceuticals, you mentioned that, and we did speak about it. Just quickly, maybe it dropped, and some people's like, what is that? Nutraceuticals, what is that?
So essentially, our name is phytoceutics, which is phyto means plant, and ceutics comes from nutraceuticals. And nutraceuticals are basically a fancy word for health supplements.
Okay, fantastic. We got that. Let's talk about preventative measures. Is it good, these nutraceuticals, to take that as a preventative measure now starting going forward from a younger age, because we always say prevention is better than cure, right?
So I think it's a fine line. There's also such a saying as too much of a good thing is also not a good thing.
Absolutely.
So you always want to make sure that you're doing more good rather than harm. So if there's a definite deficiency, fantastic, you do need to be taking it. There's also a danger that people go on a shopping spree of nutraceuticals, and we know that in certain instances there's vitamins that actually impair your absorption of things like iron, which is then going to cause hair loss.
Right. Excess
of certain vitamins, B12, folate, actually cause shedding of hair. So you just need to always have a balance.
It's in everyone's best interest to link up with a professional and ask these questions, specifically like you mentioned acne. I mean, I had a horrible acne experience, when I was younger. It was really bad, Roaccutane, the works and blood tests, and it was overwhelming for me as a young child. But I wish I knew that there's something that you could do to mitigate all of those side symptoms, because eyesight was affected, all of this, lips, everything. Anyways, products at Phytoceutics.
Yes.
When we speak about, beauty from within, looking after our hair, our nails, our skin, what do you have that standouts for you that people should look out for?
So pretty much everything Lauren mentioned. We'll start with the gut-skin axis, which I agree is incredibly important. So Terra Nova has a probiotic complex, which is a full-spectrum probiotic that helps with this gut-skin axis. Zinc, also Terra Nova has a zinc. What's quite interesting about Terra Nova is what they do is they include fresh freeze-dried plants with all of their nutraceuticals or, you know, specific ingredients like zinc. So what they say is that it enhances the absorption, just like in nature. If you eat an orange, you know, it's everything in the orange helps with your absorption of vitamin C. So this is Terra Nova's philosophy, which I really love. Purest omega-3, so you have to be quite careful with omegas because a lot of them are rancid, potentially not pure. So I guess the name Purest Omega-3 is pretty apt there. We also have Blue Iron, which is an iron supplement. Again, hair loss, brittle nails. Iron's incredibly important. This is a liquid. It's made with fresh Nordic blueberries, so it tastes nice as well. And then we have a Phytomist vitamin D3 spray, which we understand a lot of people are struggling with the amount of capsules they have to swallow. So we're really trying to offer more products that are in alternative modes of delivery. So sachets, sprays, liquids, just so that you're not swallowing handfuls.
All those, fantastic. Well, definitely an option. Ladies, thank you very much, Laura, Lauren, for the insight. I think a lot of people found a lot of benefits out of it this morning, especially because it is such a talking point. Hair, skin and nails, it's always, there's always a topic around it. Now remember, when choosing your products, you can use an exclusive 15% discount on your purchase by using the code Expresso at phytoceutics.com. You also stand a chance to win a skin, hair and nails Phytoceutics supplement hamper worth 1,500 Rand. And all you need to do to enter is tell us, what is your one tip for boosting your own skin, hair or nails? You can share your answer on our Expresso Facebook, X and Instagram pages using hashtag Phytoceutics in your entry. T's and C's do apply. You can find them on our website, expressoshow.com. And this competition runs until Monday, the 27th of May this year and closes at midnight. So get in and enter.
Enhance your beauty from within with Phytoceutics range of skin, hair, nail and longevity promoting products. Use code Expresso for 15% off at phytoceutics.com.
Oh, thank you, straight on. Well, you know what? The month of May is a very special one because we have to celebrate our mothers, and the sacrifice of a mother is unmatched. Now, she gives her all without expecting anything in return, and you get to show your appreciation for your motherly figure, be it an aunt, a gogo, your own mom, or even a sister, as we celebrate Mother's Day this month of May. Now, all you had to do was nominate that mom figure in your life and tell us why she deserved to win 2,000 Rand using hashtag Panado SA and hashtag Panado to fight pain in your answers. And we are very lucky because we have our winner on the line. Can we get a drum roll, please?
I'll add to the bill the massive congratulations to Paulina Mashabela. 2,000 Rand and a dose of love and a beautiful dedication are headed your way. So it was, in fact, her daughter that sent through the dedication. And this is what she wrote. My mom deserves a dose of care as she truly exemplifies a sacrificial spirit. There is nothing she would not do for those she loves. She continually considers the needs of others before even thinking of herself, arranging her life to accommodate others. Hashtag Panado SA. Hashtag power to fight pain indeed. And we have that gorgeous daughter on the line right now, Mapula. Very good morning. How are you?
How are you guys?
Oh, Mapula, we're so lovely we are able to talk to you. What would you like to say to Panado for, you know, giving your mom that 2,000 Rand thanks to your nomination?
I would say I appreciate that all too much because we all need the money to have some groceries at the end of the month.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant, Mapula. I've got to ask because I have a very strong feeling that you also exemplify so much of what your mother represents. What is that one life lesson that your mom has taught you that you really do value? Maybe something that's changed your life that you got from your mama.
My mom once taught me that I must stand up and be the daughter that she wants, so that even though she's not in the world, I must be able to walk and do things in my own.
I love that. Keep standing strong. Give her a massive hug and a kiss from us and tell her congratulations from your extended Expresso family. That 2,000 Rand dose of care is headed your way. Enjoy it, and thank you so much for being so proud of your mom and sharing that pride with us. We absolutely loved your dedication this morning. Thank you.
Oh, that was Mapula nominating her mom. And a mother's love for her child is like nothing else in the world. And that's all thanks to Panado. And you have one last chance to nominate your mom to be one of those 10 lucky winners getting their hands on 2,000 Rand cash. Now, if you want to know how to enter, here's how.
Mums are our true heroes, with Panado giving them the power to fight pain. So thank your mom this Mother's Day by nominating her for a 2,000 Rand dose of care. Weekdays from the 8th to the 21st of May, stand a chance of your mom being one of our 10 winners by replying to the hashtag PanadoSA and hashtag Power to Fight Pain competition post on the Expresso social pages. T's and C's apply.
Right, here is your last chance to help me choose my outfit. The ladies are looking so gorgeous this morning. I need to up my style game. So option one, this beautiful, kind of call it a deep grey blue zip-up jersey. Beautiful weave on the knit there. Nice teal shirt underneath it. The stock standard chinos that we love. And, of course, some nice brown comfy boots. And then we're going to dress it down a little bit. We've got the joggers and a nice olive green and khaki pullover crew neck jersey with the white sneakers. Option one. Option two, the choice is up to you. We'll find out what y'all are thinking after the break.
Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we delve into a very hot topic at the moment, but a vitally important one as we look forward for, I think, the entire country's well-being. President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the, let's call it, controversial National Health Insurance Bill last week, the NHI Bill. In fact, it was last week, Wednesday, and it's obviously caused quite a stir amongst many because it potentially does affect all of us. And we delve into the significant change, potentially, and what it means for the country's healthcare system, most importantly. Joining us today is our legal expert who's brilliant at dubbing these things down for us, Eitan Stern, to discuss the details and implications of the NHI. We're going to explore how it aims to transform healthcare. At least that's the notion, and the arguments for and against it, what the immediate and long-term changes that we as citizens can expect. Eitan, thank you so much. I would imagine this is a difficult line for you to walk because it's not fully realized yet. It's a future notion, but the ball has started moving.
For sure.
In quite a dominant way. Once the bill is there, this kind of gives us an intention or a marker of intent. Can you please explain the parameters? Now, what is the National Health Insurance Bill so that we can fully understand the jumping off point?
Sure. At this point, it's an act that's been passed by government, passed and signed into law by the president. So it is the law of the country. What it is, it's a proposed system for a financial system for how South Africa's health system will work. And the idea is that it pulls together all resources that we have for healthcare into one big pool. And so instead of us having a two-tiered system where you've got public health and private health, it puts it into one system. The whole country will run with what they call universal healthcare, where we all get access, in theory, to healthcare that's paid for by the state.
Where does medical aid go? Is it still there? Does it mean there is now a level above national healthcare once again? Because it's difficult to think about the ecosystem without tiers.
Yeah, so I want to just say one thing at the beginning. It's like a lot of this is proposed, right? This is just an act. It's the idea of upending an entire medical system and reshaping and reworking it is not something which they've figured out, or not something which happens overnight. So this thing could take decades if it ever gets implemented. And there's a lot of unanswered questions. But to answer that one, what happens to medical aid and private healthcare? In theory, once the state pays for all medical care, then it should, in theory, for most cases, fall away. There's a law that the private medical aid can't pay for anything that the NHI is paid for, but that's only once NHI is fully realized. So in theory, it sounds fantastic. If the state pays for all medical care, then the idea of us needing private medical care would fall away, and we see that in lots of European countries. England has their national health system. There is still private care, but it's very limited. And its use cases are limited.
Lots of pros, lots of cons. The idea of a more equitable health system is wonderful. Every child, every hospital, we are down with that. One welfare, I get that. Medical aid is incredibly expensive.
Yes.
To be able to fund something like that for now the other 90% of the population, I would love to know what those numbers actually are in terms of who has private and doesn't at the moment. I would say one of the potential hiccups where we're going to get the money from, is it a taxation? Is it through directly through another area of government? So what are some of the major pros and cons that have kind of sparked a level of debate, because it's quite heated?
Around NHI in general. So, I mean, the pros and cons are pretty obvious in this one, right? The pro, if you can get this right and you have one healthcare system that takes care of all South African citizens, it is fantastic and amazing, and we should all back that, and the private healthcare systems back that, and the hospital back that, and everyone backs that. The con in all of that is just that it doesn't work. And if we've seen, the South African government has a lot of things going for it, but implementing big systems that benefit the country, electricity, trains, etc. They're not fantastic at it, and there's been massive issues of corruption, of inefficiencies, and things don't work. So the big downside to this, there's some constitutional challenges and legal challenges which we can look into, but I think the major downside is, like, if this doesn't work, it's a huge gamble, because it upends a core to all of our lives. You've got kids, I've got kids. Healthcare is, I need to know that we can go, get healthcare.
That's kind of where you start at the beginning of the month, or I think.
100%. So I think, like, everyone wants to make sure that we have places that our families can go to hospitals. That's poor people, rich people. We all need this. We have a system that is very imperfect at the moment. We've got a two-tiered system, public health, which is kind of dysfunctional, but serves the majority of the country, private health that works really well, but it's really expensive. Neither are perfect. We need to amalgamate these things. The big downside to NHI is, the only thing is, can it work? Will it work? Can we afford it? And that is really the thing which is in question. Not should we have a better system, but will this suggestion work?
So we're going to need the stakeholders now to play their part, because the bill is there. When we talk about the legal, because this is going to be fought legally before anything else, the emotional conversation is great. We all understand that. When we talk about the unconstitutional element of this, from a legal standpoint, what are the major warning signs here?
So there's a couple there. The biggest one is, the government's got an obligation, according to our constitution, to pass laws in order to make sure that we have access to healthcare, right? The big constitutional challenge would be that this does the opposite. It takes away a lot of people's access to healthcare, and it might destroy a system which is in place. So that's sort of the major one. There's other ones as well. You're not allowed to just destroy other businesses and create monopolies.
Especially when they represent this amount of money.
Sure, exactly. Private healthcare discovery, there's a massive company. So that's another one. A third one there is a limit to the amount that you can tax citizens. A big question mark on NHI is, who pays for this thing? And there's a lot of research, a lot of numbers to show that even the plans that are in place, it's unaffordable. South Africa, you have 3 million people in South Africa that contribute 90% of the personal income tax in this country. You have a very small group of people paying for it, and there is actually a limit to the amount that you can ask of businesses and people paying tax. And what might be being asked with NHI is just too much. So those are some of the legal challenges that we're bound to see. So before NHI is actually implemented, there's definitely going to be one or several or numerous court cases to challenge these legal issues.
But that's good. It means it's happening, and it might be a little bit scary for everyone involved, but it's a brave step in the right direction. However this works out, we're asking the questions. We're talking about
100%.
universal healthcare.
Universal healthcare is now a topic in every household, and that's a really good thing because it's an important thing for us to try and get right in this country.
That is a question for another day. Where will the money come from? How will this affect you? I would say don't rush out and drop your medical aid just yet if you are relying on that. A lot more questions than answers at this stage, but that's where we need to be. Stakeholders need to have their voice heard, need to put their hands up. So if you want to have your voice heard, I would imagine that this is the right time to do it as we build up to our election. Start investigating, disseminating yourself, do a bit of research so you can answer those questions yourself. Eitan, we absolutely love you, Guy. Thank you so much for taking us through that.
Such a pleasure.
Oh, man, I absolutely love what's happening this morning. The fact that we as an Expresso family are coming to understand this bill that not many of us knew much about, but now we're just a little bit more in the know. We got a little bit more knowledge, which is incredible because an empowered South African is a knowledgeable South African, and that is what I love. Now, my Feel Good Breakfast Show family, you got to stick around because this conversation actually does continue. The NHI bill, what more do you need to know? It's going to be coming up right here, and we as well are going to be getting into something that I think is so cute and so adorable. Some awesome tips for introducing a baby to your pets. It is going to be coming up in a little bit, but I need you to stay exactly where you are. Okay, you can go to the bathroom or get some coffee just for 2 seconds. Then you must get back here because we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back on the other side of this.
Oh, you can make my day. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back as we continue our discussion on your Feel Good Breakfast Show around the National Health Insurance Bill, of course, that came into reality last Wednesday. We're chatting to our legal expert and good friend, Eitan Stern. We'll delve into what needs to be improved, added to the public healthcare system right now for the NHI to actually land, to succeed. it's one thing to think, okay, we're going to take the resources that go into medical aid and then we're now going to pump that into the general kind of healthcare system and improve everything to the same standard. That seems almost impossible. What needs to happen to boost the infrastructure in our national health, in the facilities and the resources available? Because those feel like it's a massive disparity between the two.
I guess, Graham, that's the big question. What needs to happen now? I'm not a medical expert. I'm a lawyer.
You're not a civil engineer.
But I suppose this is a big question. How do you improve systems in a country? How do you make things better? The one thing you need to do is finance them. The other thing you need is the right people in place to take a broken system and fix it. And there's been amazing examples of where these things work well and where they don't work well. You know, when I think about this, I look to other issues in South Africa that government has worked on and how they've got them right. So the big one is electricity. We had a massive problem in South Africa, load shedding, and government wasn't able to effectively run Eskom and energy generation. Now that the system is improving, how has it happened? It's happened with a mixture between private companies stepping in,
more stakeholders,
public and private companies and private companies working together to fix the system. Now the downside of electricity is that it had to get to the point that it literally broke. The lights went out for them to fix it. I'm hoping we don't get to that with health. Some people would say we're already at that point. The system is completely broken, and that's why we're fixing it. But I imagine the solution to this is going to be government effectively listen to stakeholders in the medical field, doctors, hospitals, health insurers to fix it. The worry is that hasn't happened. Many people say that it's not, that it's not a coincidence that 2 weeks before the election, this has passed through. There's even been some ANC MPs or ANC politicians telling supporters that after the election, they can walk into any hospital and get served. That is certainly not true. My hope is that this isn't just electioneering and that the government has an actual intent to try to fix the system. But that's what we're going to need to wait to see. It doesn't happen overnight and we don't know the answer.
And it's not just the people you need to win over. The doctors need to buy into this. The very highly paid doctors, surgeons, specialists who kind of make up that ecosystem. When we talk about the top tier or the tip of the medical spear, we need to keep them in the country. And I think, unfortunately, we've gone on the days of where doctors came from all over the world to work in Barra to get a taste of the real life, some real doctoring. There was this pride around how we did medicine in South Africa.
First heart transplant.
First heart transplant. That's where my babies have been born, in that same hospital. So we understand the history of the strength of South African medicine. We get that. Our doctors are amazing. How do you see this affecting them? How do we keep those doctors? And I know you're not an expert again in healthcare, but this speaks to a different battle being fought internally.
Exactly. So I can't speak from a doctor's perspective, but I can speak about the discourse that's happening. And that's one, and we were talking about it before we came on camera, and that's one about public trust. Right? There is a lot of distrust around government running systems. And what you need for the system is, the government's answer is, look, if we create a better system where it's all being paid for by the state and we've got a much better system around it, doctors will be paid better, hospitals will be paid better, the money will be a lot simpler.
So the baseline moves up. It's not just the top tier that benefits.
There's a lot of distrust. You've got a lot of doctors at the moment living in South Africa that are unemployed, that there's not enough positions available for them, and that's because of a misallocation of resources and an inefficient system. So you've got a system that's not working well enough, and what you're asking doctors and hospitals and companies who sell medical equipment, medicines, who says, buy into this new system because it's going to work better. And there's distrust. And the problem is, the worry is that if this system, NHI is pushed through, and this is the only way to access health as a doctor or a company selling health products, the only way to do it is to deal with government. We might see a collapse of the system instead of a rising of it. It is a big gamble. I really liked what Adrian Gore, the head of Discovery, he sent an email to all Discovery clients, and he said the way that we improve a system is by improving public health, not dumbing down private health.
Not the bell curve, let's bring people up.
Right, so we're going to need to wait to see how it happens, but certainly what should be happening is they need to listen to doctors and hospitals and health insurers because they have experience in running these and
they do it every day under duress very often, so they will figure out ways to make it work. Is this going to be a case of legal battle before we settle on where medical aid fits in, or do you foresee, and there would have to be forward thinking. I would imagine the discoveries of the world are thinking very clearly now about how they're going to reposition themselves in that sense, and hopefully buying into a change. Maybe not necessarily this, but a shift. How do you see this actually landing? Will medical aid disappear, or will it be a different version of?
So I think, like, I can only go according to what the medical aides have been saying, what I've read about what them saying, but there's a need. No one is against universal healthcare. They want to be part of the discussion. The complaint has been that government hasn't taken their suggestions, their inputs seriously enough, and have just aimed to push this bill through without actually talking through it and listening to them. My hope is that, as I said with electricity, that the way this works is by government, private companies working together to build a good system. And as you say, there's nothing wrong with South Africa. We have the best minds, best healthcare, great entrepreneurs, all the ingredients for success. It just needs to work together cohesively and not as an electioneering system that's pushed through just in order to get it done in time for the votes. But again, I could be completely wrong about that. We could see that the government has a great plan here and it's put into play. I certainly hope that's the case. We want a universal healthcare, but we just need a healthcare system that works.
We just need something that works for everybody. Don't forget, you do have a vote, but you also have a voice. You can ask questions. You can engage with your own medical aid. You can have your voice heard at this vital stage of what could be a major, major turning point for the country. I love the fact that we are even having this conversation, as diverse as it is. I love the fact that we are talking about universal healthcare, because so many South Africans do not have access, and that does need to change.
It is just after 7. Let's take a look at those national headlines. Deputy Chief Justice Mandisa Maya is expected to face the Judicial Service Commission today in an interview to become the next Chief Justice. This comes ahead of Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's retirement at the end of August. In February 2022, she was also interviewed for the position of Chief Justice. However, President Ramaphosa used his prerogative empowered by the Constitution to appoint Justice Zondo. She's now the sole candidate to be interviewed to take over from the outgoing Chief Justice on the 1st of September. The Independent Electoral Commission, the IEC, has welcomed yesterday's Constitutional Court decision to uphold the Commission's earlier disqualification of Jacob Zuma's candidacy. The IEC said the order cleared the way for final preparations ahead of the elections. A statement by the IEC read, and I quote, "Now that the matter has been settled by the highest court and given that the constitutional uncertainties have been clarified, the Commission can continue with final preparations for free and fair 2024 national and provincial elections single-mindedly, without apprehension that the elections are susceptible to challenge," end of quote. We now move to news beyond our own borders. Israel and Hamas yesterday both angrily rejected moves to arrest their leaders for war crimes made before the International Criminal Court, the ICC, as heavy fighting raged in the Gaza Strip. The ICC's prosecutor, Karim Khan, said he'd applied for arrest warrants against top Israeli and Hamas leaders over the bloody conflict. Israel said the demand targeting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant was a historical disgrace, and Hamas strongly condemned the move against Qatar-based Ismail Haniyeh and Gaza chief Yahya Sinwar as well. Kenya's economy grew by 5.6% in 2023 and a revised 4.9% in the previous year, the head of the Statistics Office said yesterday. The East African nation's economy relies on farming, which contributes more than a fifth of annual economic output, and abundant rains after years of drought helped the sector to recover from contractions in the previous 2 years. Tourism, which is another key sector, also posted growth, with visitors' arrivals surpassing the annual pre-pandemic level of 2.035 million to 2.087 million visitors last year. And a poll of 2,000 adults have found that 43% believed the 1980s was the golden age of filmmaking. Dirty Dancing, Back to the Future and E.T. topped the list of the best 80s movies, with Dirty Dancing starring Patrick Swayze winning 12 awards, including an Academy Award for Best Original Song. Other top films include Top Gun, Die Hard, The Terminator, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Star Wars: The Emperor Strikes Back. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Hanks, and Tom Cruise were named the most iconic 80s stars, and Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and Ridley Scott were the most influential directors. To quote, they say 80s movies have serious nostalgia power and still popular with young people. And that is said by a lottoland.co.uk spokesperson who commissioned the survey. Well, that is where I leave those headlines. Let's take another look at your sport.
And interesting enough, for any aspiring filmmakers out there, most of the films mentioned should never have been made. They seemed like impossible projects, but look what they bore. Incredible. Now let's turn to football and big news when it comes to the Premier League. Feyenoord's coach Arne Slot has been confirmed as Jurgen Klopp's successor at Liverpool, and that by the Premier League club. The 45-year-old Dutchman will assume the role officially as head coach on the 1st of June, pending his work permit. And although the club's statement did not detail the length of his contract, it has been reported that Slot has signed a 3-year deal, and he's announced his move to Anfield at his final pre-match press conference, which Feyenoord held on Friday, and he replaces Jurgen Klopp following the German's obvious departure announcement in January. Now let's turn to rugby that's currently playing out. Griquas will be hosting the SA Cup final this week in Kimberley, facing the Pumas following the conclusion of a very exciting round-robin phase. So Griquas, they've been on fire. They secured their home final by defeating the Cheetahs 39-17 in Bloemfontein, while the Pumas, they ensured their spot in the final with a 43-14 dominance over the Griffins at the Mbombela Stadium. So Griquas, who are unbeaten and topping the log with 45 points, that earned them the right to host the second-placed Pumas, who finished with 41 points. The SA Cup final between the Griquas and Pumas will be staged this coming Saturday. It's the 25th of May, obviously in Kimberley. Now, more positive signs ahead of the next big Grand Slam as Rafael Nadal drew a substantial crowd at Roland Garros, and that was yesterday for just a training session, despite the uncertainty surrounding his actual participation in the upcoming French Open. So the 14-time French Open champion practiced on the central court, attracting several thousand spectators, in fact, and this marked his return to the Parisian clay court since his last title win in 2022, when he played through the tournament, you might remember, with his left foot anesthetized to manage the pain from Müller-Weiss syndrome, a chronic condition that he's in fact endured since the age of 18. Now, the French Open main draw gets underway excitedly on the 26th of May. Now, a lot of focus, understandably, during an Olympic year on athletics. And we're going to focus on one name in particular, Prudence Sekgodiso. She delivered an outstanding, the best performance of her career, in fact, at the Seoul Diamond League meet held on African soil this season. The 22-year-old, she dominated the women's 800 meters, maintaining control throughout the race and then making a decisive move down the home straight to outpace the very quick Ethiopian Olympic finalist Habitam Alemu. And Sekgodiso's winning time of 1 minute 57.26 seconds not only marked a significant personal best, but also secured her first Diamond League victory and the prize that comes with it, and set the fastest women's 800-meter time in the world this season. We love to see our athletes peaking like that, but that's where we leave our sport for now. The roads should be warming up. Let's see if there are any incidents to report on.
We start with traffic in Johannesburg. There's been a multi-vehicle accident on the N12 eastbound after Voortrekker with the center lane closed, so expect delays and add additional travel time. That's your traffic. Let's take another look at your weather. We start with news. Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu has announced the transformation of water from a natural spring in Babanango to quality drinking water, benefiting some 250,000 households in Zululand and the Umzinyathi district municipalities. This initiative is part of diversifying South Africa's water resources for security. The Babanango Water Spring Project, an emergency upgrade of the Babanango Inhengile Communal Water Supply Scheme, is managed by the Umgeni Utukuela Water. Due to sporadic water supply, the community discovered usable water springs. Tests revealed the spring water wasn't initially suitable for consumption. The department then appointed Umgeni Utukuela Water to upgrade the project and construction to improve water quality has started. Well, that is your weather news. Let's take a look at your sunrise view. Hansi from Vredesdorp sharing a beautiful orange scattered sky with us today. What a beautiful and strong sunrise view. Well, if you would love to share yours, do so on our WhatsApp line. That number is 063 408 8863. But for now, let's look at your temperatures for your Tuesday across South Africa.
I always tell you, no matter the weather, as long as we're together, my love, we can get through anything. And this is why this morning we're talking about something that affects us all in the country, yeah? We told you for our Good Morning Post to come through all in the name of the National Health Insurance Bill. Where do you stand? Do you think it'll be more helpful or more harmful? And I want to jump into some of these comments that you actually left for us on our social media pages. And thank you so much for doing so. It's still there. Go and do the things still. And I want to start off with this one from Skalk van der Merwe, who says, good morning, guys. No good can come from the NHI bill. Our country is unfortunately not equipped to manage it. Coming to this one, Untuli Melody Sma says it is beyond harmful and the country is not economically and sustainably ready for it. Ooh, let's jump into this one from Anthea. And Anthea says, unfortunately, our country is not in a position to sustain it. Not enough tax-paying citizens to cover this. Yes, in certain countries it works, but there are taxes, or rather, their taxes are so high. Almost every person capable of working is working. We have too many people unemployed and uneducated. This government has already damaged our education system. Our poor kids will suffer. Let's have one more before we hear from Zoe. Teresa Micah says, good morning, my only favorite beautiful Expresso family. Oh, hello, Teresa. And she says it'll be harmful because amongst other problems like corruption, it will be a burden to taxpayers. There are so many different comments coming through, but we want to hear, what do you think? Hashtag Expresso Show, as well as 063 408 8863. The NHI bill, the newly signed one, that is. My friend, do you believe it'll be more helpful or more harmful? Right about now, Zoe is standing by in Cape Town.
Oh, thank you, Zanele. And yes, thank you for your comments. We love it when you're part of the show and weigh in with everything we always ask you to weigh in on, including Graham's outfit. Now, earlier on the show, Graham asked you to help him choose between two cozy knitwear looks for winter. Now, today's options were option 1, a deep grey zip-up with chinos and comfort boots, or option 2, a striped khaki crew neck with joggers and sneakers, white sneakers, as you can see, for more of a casual look. And let's take a look at some of the comments that you have suggested or voted for. So first up, we have Shireen saying, good morning, Graham and the team. Happy Tuesday. I choose option 1 for Graham. The grey zip up and chinos and boots, perfect for the weather today. Stylish and comfortable. Have a super day. Thank you for that, Shireen. We appreciate it. Do we have any other comments? Charmaine says, hi guys, I think option 1 has Graham written all over it. Very smart and chic. Hashtag styled by Woolies. Yes, very much a Graham look. I love how we all have our looks and you already know which one suits our personalities. Francis is saying, good morning, Expresso. Definitely option 1. G-Man, you will definitely look snazzy. Okay, so it seems like 3 votes already for option 1. Our last one came through. Vincent, a deep grey zip-up chinos and boots, also voting for number 1. So I think it is a clear winner, that option 1 won. And we just have to say a big thank you to you for casting your vote and, of course, playing dress up with our very own Graham. I know I always joke and tease and say he is our Ken. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, here is the winning look for today's show.
I think the writing was, well, it was on the screen, literally, not the wall. Well done, y'all. Love the knit, beautiful fit. It's slightly fitted, so you get kind of a trunky feel, but with a bit of a kind of cleaner silhouette.
Shape.
Yeah, a
Gives
nice
you
shape. Love it. Well done, y'all. You did a great job.
Oh, how exciting is this? Well, it's always so nice to get beautiful looks put together. And whether you are going for trendy cable knits to versatile crew necks, you can shop your winter staples at Woolworths, in-store, online, as well as on the Woolies app. Well done, G.
I feel very grown up right now. Well done. Absolutely love the look.
Big love is in the tiny details. Every second, every nook, every stitch. The details make the difference.
Oh, we are taking the quickest of breaks on your Feel Good Breakfast show. We are super excited because when it comes to performers, it's always so exciting when we get to enjoy them here in Cape Town.
Yep.
I know we've been having the little tug of war between performers in Johannesburg, performers in Cape Town. So today it's in Cape Town. Villi Vula is with us and we cannot wait to introduce you to him. And of course, something really exciting.
Yeah, it's a little poofy. She is gorgeous. Karis Nafty is here. She's brought some friends. We're going to talk about introducing your pup to your brand new baby. An interesting conversation to have. Cuteness overload on the way. Stick around.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast show. It's Expresso on S3. Now, before the ad break, we showed you some cuteness, and now we're going to dive into it because welcoming home a newborn baby, it is a very exhilarating moment for both our families and, of course, our furry friends. Now, this morning, we are diving into that excitement, sharing tips and tricks on how you can ensure your beloved pets seamlessly transition into their new role as big brother and sisters. And that's why we have asked for pet behavioralist Karis Nafty to join us alongside Bear. Yes, he knows his name.
Yes, he knows his name.
He knows his name. Oh, this is so exciting. And it's a very exciting chapter for a lot of families. Most of us, our pets are our fur kids. They're not just our furry friends. But now I'm thinking as a couple that have had a dog or has a dog and now they're pregnant and they're about to have their baby, it can be quite an anxious moment. How are we going to make sure the dog likes the baby? The baby will obviously grow up with the dog and won't know any better. So perhaps, Karis, how can we prepare our dog, to accept this imminent arrival of a new baby?
It's such a fun time and it's such a good question. And hopefully these tips will help new moms feel a little bit easier about the transition. So my first big tip is to try to put routines in place before the baby is born that you will have after. So for example, if you let your dog sleep on the bed or cuddle on the couch like Bear is doing now, if you don't think you'll be comfortable with that when the baby comes, then start to teach your dog long before the baby's due to stay on the floor, for example. In other words, you don't want to suddenly change all everything the dog's used to as soon as the baby comes home. So you can put that in place immediately. When the baby is born, so if the baby is born in the hospital, bring home the blankets and the clothes that the baby has been wearing before the baby comes home so the dog can smell it. So dogs get so much of their information through their nose. So you want to bring all this home, allow the dog to smell it. When you bring the actual baby home, which is a very sweet moment, it's really, really important that the dog is allowed to smell the baby. Now, if you have any worry that your dog seems scared of the baby or is acting anything other than excited, then you should get professional help in to give you some advice. But if your dog is just a normal, like, wow, I'm excited, what are you holding? Is it a cat? What is it? You've got to let the baby smell it. I mean, let the dog smell it. So keep the baby wrapped up, but allow the dog to inspect the baby with its nose. That will calm the dog down quite a lot.
Okay.
My biggest tip for families when a new baby comes is make sure that your dog is still going to get its normal amount of exercise, which seems like a silly tip. But if you've got an active dog who's used to 1 or 2 walks every day and suddenly those walks stop because, of course, everyone's busy with baby, that can make a dog quite kind of manic and seem like the dog's acting funny to the baby, but really the dog's just bored.
Yeah, they're bored and they're out of their own routine.
Exactly, exactly. So if you have family asking you, like, how can I help you? Ask them, please take the dog for a walk, and that's one way they really can help you quite a lot.
And that is amazing. A friend of mine, when her fur baby was her everything, and then she had her baby and she was extremely worried. They took the tips you've said where they send something home, the dog got excited, but she said she wished she had taken the dog for a walk before they brought the baby back because the dog just had too much energy. Now, how can parents just make sure that they themselves stay calm? Because, I mean, it's natural for a dog to be inquisitive, to go to the new baby and try and smell it. But I think as a new parent, you're also like, oh my gosh, the germs, let's keep the baby away or the dog away. How can we make sure that moment is a bit more calm, if it's even possible?
If it's even possible. Look, it is possible. So taking your dog for a walk beforehand is a great idea. If your dog is not, you know, sick, there's not a risk of, like, I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a vet, but in terms of the health risk, I know people worry about that, but there isn't a big risk that the dog is going to somehow make the baby sick from smelling it and just getting close. So the biggest thing to do is get low enough that the dog can smell the baby. If you hold the baby up high and you feel a bit panicky, the dog will jump, and that can seem scary. So what dad can do, or someone else in the family, is keep the dog on a leash so that mom can sit down with the baby, allow the dog to smell the baby, and then after that initial excitement, I would take the dog on a second walk. I know it seems like just take the dog on a walk, but when dogs walk, they calm down. Everything calms down. Another tip that's really helpful is to get something your dog likes to chew on. And after the dog has said hello to the baby, give it something fun to chew on. And then the dog can channel its excitement into its mouth rather than jumping up at the baby.
Oh, and also, I mean, if you were the initial fur mom, spend some time alone with your doggy before he goes and meets the new puppy. I mean, the new baby. Look at us changing babies and puppies around. Look at us.
The human puppy, yeah, exactly.
Just a puppy with no hair.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I absolutely love this. Now, naturally, you want to make sure your dog is protected from parasites and worms, from being outside, and now you having your doggo in the home. How important is it to make sure you stay to all your various vaccinations and that they are up to date?
Yeah, all of that is important. So you want your dog to be healthy. You don't want any kind of fleas in the house. You don't want to risk that your dog is not a good, normal, healthy dog. So have all of that in place ahead of time. Get all nice and organized so you don't have to worry about making any extra vet trips or going for your annual vaccinations or anything like that. Yeah.
Oh, well, Karis, we always love having you and Bear, and whenever Samuel is here. But Bear, today's your day, right, Bear? Oh, yes, it is. Well, I need to now change into my grown-up voice, because NextGuard, they safeguard not just pets, but also the whole family. Now, trusted and effective, it offers peace of mind to pet owners, to new parents, ensuring that their furry friends and human loved ones are protected from parasites. With NextGuard, family care is complete, allowing everyone to enjoy life to the fullest, and you can choose a brand that prioritizes family, both the two-legged and the four-legged. Well, there you have it, and we also have one lucky viewer that stands the chance to win a 2,000 Rand cash and a surprise goodie for their furry friend. Now, the cash is for you, the goodies for the friend. Now, simply reply to the competition post that's available on Expresso's Facebook, X or Instagram pages and tell us why your furry friend holds such a special place in your family. Don't forget to include that hashtag NextGuard and hashtag Guardians of Love. The competition will close at midday on Friday, the 24th of May, and there are T's and C's that can be found on our website, expressoshow.com. Now that Sam is sitting all beautiful and all, how old is Sam? I know a lot of viewers would love to know about Bear.
Yeah, Bear, that's okay.
Sam, sorry,
Bear,
I'm confusing the pups.
So Bear is almost 6 years old, and what happens with poodles like him who get haircuts is people think he's a puppy because he looks like a puppy. He's just had his hair done, but he's almost 6 years old. He's a miniature poodle, and he's a fabulous little dog. He's absolutely brilliant.
And how is Bear with babies?
Bear loves babies. Bear loves babies. I've got kids myself, and I made sure when he was small, I wasn't planning on having any more kids after I had him, but he loves meeting kids and playing with kids in the park. So he's a really excellent dog. Not all dogs are great with kids. You have to use all your common sense when it comes to dogs and kids. But for dogs like Bear who really love people, they're just the most fabulous little playmates.
Oh, well, there we go. Karis Nafti, thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Bear. Thank you for being such a good boy. Be a good boy. There we go.
Oh, a good boy indeed. Well, you and your pup and everyone else's pup that you know could be living your best life if you play Powerball and Powerball Plus today. Why am I so animated? 71 million Rand in total estimated jackpots is ready to be won today if you play Powerball, firstly for an estimated 49 million, and then Powerball Plus for an estimated 22 million Rand. But as always, if you want to win, you've actually got to play, and we've made it as easy as possible. Let's give you the breakdown. So you can go in-store, obviously, you can go nationallottery.co.za. Online, you can use the mobile app, which works brilliantly, your own banking app, or you can just dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. And we've kept all of those details up on our social media platforms, so you can check them out at your leisure. Just make sure you ponder, push, or play today. Powerball and Powerball Plus for an estimated 71 million Rand in total jackpots. That will be life-changing. I love it. So as you ponder those lucky numbers and maybe get your entrance in online, you can ponder what's coming up over the next half hour of the show. We are so excited to have this man down south and in our studio. He sounds immaculate and he looks pretty good too. Villi Vula is here looking pretty jacked. Maybe he's here to remind us that Day is leg day, and in fact we're going to make today leg day because Zanele is going to be training incredibly hard on your behalf in just a moment. Now get warmed up, get the gym gear on. You can move with her in just a moment. We'll see you after the break.
There are stories of believers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Yes, we are very excited to have this young man in our studio today because, oh, he started out as a phenom and then he just carried on doing it. Villi Vula is incredible. He is a renowned and much beloved singer, actor, presenter, makeup artist, even a photographer par excellence. And he's just kind of gotten started, I think, and he's back with his latest single, and 2010, which I probably butchered just by my beautiful accent, but I want you to hear it firsthand. Take a little look at this. It's got all of the feels. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Villi Vula. Welcome to it, buddy.
There's a clapping in
I just want to know, how much body oil did you use in the shooting of that video? Quite a bit, eh?
In the shooting in that video, and you were just in the dressing room. All I asked for was body lotion.
Buddy, when you've got real estate like that, I can understand. So good to see you. So
That's
good to see.
That's why I love coming here, because you make me feel good. So
and we literally have cream in every room because that's what we demand. Buddy, I love what you represent within your lane, and it's so good to see you just so happy, first of all. So my first question is, how are you, buddy? It's been a minute. How's life treating you?
It's been very well. I just turned 37, and it's amazing. This year, it's actually my 20th year in the entertainment industry, not only the Afrikaans one. So it's been quite a journey, and they say overnight success happens, or it happens overnight, but then it takes 20 years.
Exactly.
So yeah, life has been very good this couple of years.
That being said, because you've been quite intentional, and I know you play in a lane, when it comes to the Afrikaans music, dipping your toes in other areas can be quite a tricky situation. You've got such a hardcore fan base, and you never want to disassociate, but you've broadened your circle. The skills that you've taken on board to turn yourself into a one-man company brand. I mean, you even do your own makeup, which is amazing to me, but this must be validation when you look back on the career that you've had and being so intentional about the choices that you've made and who you represent. It must feel good.
Yeah, I must say, quite early in my career, I realized that, listen, this journey is not going to be very quick for me, and it's not going to be fast. I'm going to have to do some extra work. I'm going to have to find my own identity and my own lane of style. So I quite knew very early on that I don't fit into the mold, especially in the Afrikaans music industry. So I just took my time. I said to my management quite early on, like, listen, let's not push it. Let's just hustle and let's put in the work. I always say to people, I don't think I'm the most talented one in the room. I just think I'm the most hardworking one in the room. And that helped me quite a lot in my career this far.
Because the work ethic trumps everything else. You seem so, if anything, you seem more excited now about performing than you ever have been in your career. Where does that come from? Because whatever hat you're wearing, you still represent who you are, and this energy is always there, but there seems to be a fire right now. Where does that come from?
I just think, and without sounding cliche, I really love what I do, and it would have been terrible for me to be this busy as the last couple of years and I didn't enjoy what I do. So I actually really love what I do. Every day I realize that, listen, this is such a blessing. Like coming on a set like this, doing shows like this, doing the work that I do. I do a lot of magazine covers. I do a lot of shows. I've got my own TV show. So it's always a pinch myself moment to realize that, listen, after 20 years, you still get to do what you love. And that's not normal.
And you get to do it on a different level because you have the depth of trust. The people who watch you, the people who connect with you now trust you because you've always been authentic. And you can dress you up in whatever music style, dress you up in whatever show, whatever agenda is being played out from the commercials. You've stayed true to who you are. You're an artist, and that plays out in the most beautiful ways. When you're taking a photograph, do you tap into the same creativity as to when you're writing a song or laying down a track or even just working on your own image? Is it one source, or do you find yourself stepping into different lanes? How does that creative source work?
So I must say my fans have been there because I come out of a reality show. I was in Idols, and people had to vote for me. I quickly realized that my career is very dependent on other people.
They're your
And
boss.
They're my boss. They're my boss. Please be kind. But no, they have supported me through this whole journey. So I always like to take the people with me on this journey, and I always say it's not just my music, it's your music. But with everything, I always think of the people. I think of how will my music make people think, feel. When I shoot a magazine cover, I always imagine someone walking in the shopping aisle. And what will they feel when they see the cover for the first time? And that makes me excited, because that makes me very much driven and strive to impress people every time.
I love it, because it speaks to how far you're willing to go to meet that level of quality in everything that you do, which is very, very commendable, because it's not always like that. No. It really isn't. Then you also earn the right to have a little bit of fun with your mates and play around with other artists to collaborate. Talk me through Boys Are Back. What is this production all about? Fill us in.
Yes, like it. Last year we were at a festival. The 5 of us were sitting backstage having a chat, and then one of the guys, Lee Scott, said, listen, why don't we do like a big tribute show to boy bands? Because at that point, Backstreet Boys was in South Africa, Westlife was in South Africa. So we said, like, listen, okay, let's do one show. And we opened the tickets up 3 months prior to opening.
Look at that lineup, though.
Yeah,
come on.
We never looked that snazzy, even after that. So, then we said, like, listen, why don't we do a show? And then we opened it 3 months prior, so hoping that the tickets will sell. And then in 48 hours, it sold out.
Gone.
So we saw, okay, what's happening now? And then we decided to do only 3 shows for this year, or 3 cities. So we're doing Cape Town, Nelspruit, and Emperor's Palace in Pretoria. So
what a venue, yeah.
2 of the Cape Town shows sold out, so we're opening a 3rd one now.
Thank you.
And yes, thank you so much. So no, it's such a great show of vocals. We all love singing the songs. It was one of the most easiest shows for me to learn, because we knew all the...
It's in your DNA,
It's actually
buddy.
scary, but as soon as it starts playing, you know the words.
And at least you can sing along with some aplomb. When I sing along, it sounds very different, but I've been introducing my child to like JT and NSYNC and the joy of the boy band. I have a feeling the era might be returning, and when you've got voices like that combining, you will understand why. But I've been listening to this young man do his sound checks all over our studio. You might have been hearing him in the background. He is sounding phenomenal this morning, so we cannot wait to hear you at that mic. Willem, thank you so much for being here so early.
Yes.
We love this guy, and you're going to love him even more when you see this performance, and he'll be doing that in just a moment. Stick around.
Oh, thanks, G-Man. Well, listen, today it is Tuesday, and it's a busy one because we also love to take a look at #TravelTuesday. And today we are just discussing holiday destinations. One place that crossed both our minds is the beautiful Turkey. Did I say that correctly?
I always say, and look, we're probably both going to butcher it, but it's okay because we're not from Turkey and we're trying and we're learning, okay? Turkey is how I would say it, but I always say it with a ridiculous accent and a hand gesture for some reason.
Turkey.
I don't care how you say it, just say it and focus, because it is a beautiful part of the world. I know, Zoe, you have been there.
I've been there.
And I still think about the images that you posted, the hot air ballooning, the caves, the affordable countries in the world to visit for South Africans, which isn't often the case.
I went and looked. The Turkish lira is 1 rand gives you 1.77 lira.
That's unheard of.
I know.
That is wonderful.
1 rand gives you 1.77 lira.
Yeah, that actually makes it accessible. And so often we think getting overseas, having a magical one of these like once-in-a-lifetime trips is out of our range. But this is fantastic. The exchange rate, beautiful, mesmerizing views, unforgettable, breathtaking views. Let's be honest. I mean, look at that. Endless range of activities to throw yourself into, delicious food. And then, of course, you've got an unmatched history as well. So many different continental influences, European, Asian. I love it. What could possibly stop you from visiting Turkey?
Oh, well, Turkey is bordered by 4 seas, the Aegean Sea, the Black Sea, the Sea of Marmara, and the Mediterranean Sea. Beautiful waters all around.
That's just a ridiculous blue. That's an AI-made blue. If breathtaking views then aren't your thing, you can also go deep on the cultural side and explore the historical landmarks that are scattered literally around the entire country. You've got the ancient city of Troy. come on. Turkey has such a rich history that date back 10, 11,000 years. So you can literally see the progression of our society play out. I love it.
Well, if that's not enough to pique your interest, how does this sound? You can experience Turkey's largest city, Istanbul, discover classic cultural sites such as the Blue Mosque, the Topkapi Palace, the Hagia Sophia Museum, and the Grand Bazaar. Don't forget about the beautiful Bosphorus that's just right there through the city.
And you know, there's Asia and Europe sit on either side of the Bosphorus, which is amazing. And I love the fact that there's wealth. They love cats.
They do.
You literally,
Cats
are everywhere.
yeah.
So I can understand why you absolutely loved it. But I think in terms of value for money, which is so important now, because we all kind of travel with purpose and we have to make every cent that we spend really count. This is the way you do it. And if you fly to Istanbul with Turkish Airlines, you're going to be offered a complimentary tour service to boot. That's Tour Istanbul. So you can explore Istanbul with a bonus of meals included, and you really want that, and enjoy a free boat tour under the Bosphorus Bridge. It's iconic, and you can literally look at Asia and Europe, not at the same time, but you could turn your head really quickly.
And then you're there.
Absolutely beautiful, man.
And you can book your tour when you book your flights on the Turkish Airlines website. No advance booking is required, and the scheduled tours are free of charge for an eligible Turkish airline passenger. Now you can head to turkishairlines.com for more information.
We connect more countries than any other airline. Turkish Airlines.
If we're going to be going to Turkey, honey, we want to be looking good, okay? So today, we've got the Queen Fitness in the building. She is going to be taking us through a leg warm-up, you know what I mean? And also a leg, next one. Sorry, there we go. It's a leg workout that will honestly be so easy to do in your lounge. And then, my lovely, we're also going to be getting into a young recipe. And I want you to listen to this because it sounds absolutely delicious. It is a sun-dried tomato pesto chicken pasta. I want it now, but no, I'm working out now, okay? We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back on the other side of this, my love.
Drained? Dehydrated? You have lost more than just fluid. Recover faster. Add Rehydrate, SA's #1 oral electrolyte mixture.
that this is where we're in the business of feeling good and most importantly, making you feel good, my lovely. And this morning we have brought in the queen. I'm talking about Queen Fitness, aka Mapule Ndlovu. She is here to give us a leg workout of note, but it mustn't be of too much note, ne, Mapule, please. Just,
you must
you know.
commit.
Oh, but I'm so stressed. How are you, gorgeous?
I'm excellent. Thank you for having me once again.
Of
I'm
course.
ready to get you, you know.
Feeling warm.
Yes.
Getting going. All right. Tell me, what are we going to be getting up to?
It's very simple. We're going to do a full-on leg workout, but it's not going to be complicated.
Okay.
I want you feet shoulder width apart. So go feet shoulder width apart. And then we're just warming up. You want to make sure you rotate, ground your heels, push the knees slightly out, and then just sit.
Okay.
You see, you are lifting your heels. The heels must stay down.
No.
Let's go. Push back, heels stay down. Excellent.
How is that?
Widen your feet a little bit more.
Okay.
And then, if you find that your knees are collapsing, you want to point out slightly. And then let's do it again. It should feel a little bit more comfortable.
Okay.
You ready?
Ready.
Let's go. Perfect.
That sounds,
Excellent.
that feels better, yes. And I did
There
tell
we
you,
go.
Mapule, I have like a little bit of a knee thing going on here.
So you must be mindful when you come up that you don't
Lock.
hyperextend.
Okay.
Keep them like slightly soft, just a little bit softer.
Okay.
Let's go. Give me 2 more.
Okay. All right.
Last one.
Okay, my knee's
Ready.
behaving. Yes,
So if you have any issue, we're going to do lunges now, ne? You do reverse lunges. If you have any problem, you want to do a lot more reverse lunges.
Oh,
'Cause it's
really?
softer
As in instead of doing the forward
lunges.
Oh,
Okay,
I
let's
didn't know
try the
that.
reverse
Okay,
lunges.
ready.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's go. Okay, engage that core. Very controlled. It's very important to control the movement.
Yes.
Engage your core.
Okay. And how do I make sure I'm engaging my core?
Suck the belly button in. This is where the balance is, ne?
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm engaging my core now.
Nice. You'll feel more stable if your core is engaged.
Okay.
If it's not, you feel a little bit wobbly.
I feel that, and especially with putting the hands on the head.
It's making it hard.
Yeah, it feels a little bit easier to be able to do it, and I feel a little bit more balanced.
Oh, that's nice. So we're gonna go into kneel to stand.
Okay.
Prisoner squats. So you're here.
I'm stressed.
So you're here. You're gonna go all the way down.
Okay.
Down, up, and lift.
What if I can't do that, Mapule? Okay. Okay, I'll try
You
it.
said what
if? Yes. Okay.
Try it.
All right.
Then
Here we go.
I can tell if you can't do it.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Down, softly, down, come up. Aha, nice. Excellent. Now let's go.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Mom, I
2,
did it.
2,
Okay.
the other side, other side. Down, down, up, up. So we'll spice it and add a little bit of a jump squat, ne? Just a smaller
jump squat.
Yeah, a smaller
Hey,
now.
hectic this morning. All right, let's do it.
Down, down, up, up, sit, and
and then into a squat again.
Yes, because you want to. The problem is if you jump like this, it's just too stiff and it's not graceful. So you want to jump and maximize on the squat.
Love it, love it. Okay, while we do this, can I ask you?
Yes.
If there are people out there who are like, you know what, it's getting more and more difficult just to work out during winter. Because I know some of us, we are using the excuse of the sun rising late, you know. What do you say to those people? Like, what are the tips you can give us?
Every
It's
year,
difficult.
guys. Okay, so it's very, this is what I would say a lot of people must do. Do it in the morning.
Yeah.
Do it and get it over with. Find a group, find a community that will keep you accountable. Find a trainer.
Yeah.
At least when you know you've paid for the session, sometimes you're like, ish. Unless you have too much money.
No, I don't have too much money. So
Yeah.
I go to my sessions, yes.
I find it is very easy. And put your stuff in the car. Don't have that thing of saying, I'll go home and get my stuff. No, just make sure everything is packed and it's ready. Should you be driving home or going back from work to home, at least pass by the gym once you get an opportunity. And you can also do home workouts because those work and it's very convenient. It's just at home. Try to do like 30 minutes.
Yes.
Do small. You don't have to do an hour, 2
hours.
You just want to maintain consistency.
Love
Because
that.
that's the problem. That's where the magic is.
Love
if you can
that.
maintain throughout the winter, then you're good.
Love it. Okay, I owe you another one of the going down. Okay, here we go.
Kneel to stand with a nice jump squat. Aha.
I am a fitness babe. Okay, one last thing before we head on.
Spice it up. Remember, we did the reverse lunge and we did the squats, right?
Yes.
So you know how to do the two movements.
Yes.
So it's important that you learn how to do the movements separately. Then it's easier to combine them. Because I like, you know, to make it a little bit fun.
Yes.
So you sit into a squat. You
Okay.
come up. We turn into a lunge.
Hectic.
Ne?
Okay.
Okay.
I can do it.
So you have to think about each and every move that you're going to do. You sit into a squat.
Yeah.
You come up. You turn and into a lunge. And back up. Sit.
Okay.
The other side. Turn and into a lunge.
Yeah, I like this one.
Nice.
It's fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go. Sit. Up. Turn. Lunge. Sit. Up. Turn. Nice.
Yes.
Remember when I said stability, you...
Yes, I love it.
Nice. Sit. Up.
And done. Thank you, my
Nice.
Mafule. Did I make you proud?
You did very well.
Thank you. Yeah. Even with a bad knee. Thank you very much. Her name is Queen Fitness. You can find her on all social media platforms. And my friend, we are making sure that we're staying active all throughout winter. We know how it can creep in sometimes, and bed just seems a little bit warmer. No. We're making sure that you are 100% on the money when it comes to that. Right about now, my beautiful Zoe is standing by in Cape Town. Hi, my Zoe Licious.
Oh, well, thank you, Zanele. And yes, what a good workout that was. Now, I know when it comes to you at home, you always have this dreaded question you ask yourself or perhaps your partner every single day. What's for dinner? Well, we've got you covered with our creamy sun-dried tomato pesto chicken recipe. It is a comfort midweek meal that you can enjoy even if you are lactose intolerant, because that's why we have Teresa here to show us how to make this delicious recipe, and we will be using our no-lac clover no-lac milk. So Teresa, I'm going to quickly grab our milk because we
Brilliant.
have got most of the ingredients over there,
All set
and
up.
then we're going to grab our no-lac.
Yes.
over
Well, what's
here.
for dinner is something I hear every single day, usually from the little ones. So,
Mom, what's for dinner?
Yeah, I have to have a plan. And this is a really great weeknight meal. It's so quick, it's nourishing, wholesome. So you're going to love this one.
It's going to be tasty if I look at the
Very.
amount of spices in front of me.
Some smoked paprika. And you can play around actually with your spices and your heat level. I'm going to add some chili flakes.
And I mean, the chili, where does the heat level come from? Is it coming from the chili flakes or the paprika
Yeah,
or
a bit of both, mainly the chili.
Okay.
So if you really don't like the heat, you can obviously take it out, or if you like it really spicy, add more. So just adapt it for your family. And don't forget to season as well. And then you're just going to toss the chicken in all these beautiful slices.
ingredients.
They smell amazing.
And that one's got a bit of a bite to it.
It's got a bit of a bite, but as I said, play around and make it the way you like. And then that's going to go into our olive oil. And you're just going to brown your fillets. That's the first step.
Okay, because chicken's one of those things, you want to make sure it cooks through properly. You don't want to have any, like, oopsies around that.
No, you're going to be very careful.
And I noticed you're using chicken breast. Is this a recipe you can also do with, you know, the thighs and the wings and the drumsticks?
Definitely. Actually, the boneless thighs are lovely. They're so tender, so that's an option as well. And what you could do if you wanted to be really organized is actually put the spices on earlier in the day and just leave it in the fridge. And then it's all ready to go.
To get it to, like, almost in a weird way, marinade. Or I know spices don't marinate, but you need the liquids to marinate it.
You can let them sit in the spices and just, do their thing.
Okay.
Right, so I'm just going to brown those off before we add the rest of our ingredients.
Okay.
So very, very easy.
And I love that we get to use this with chicken breasts, and we get to obviously add I know you prefer the skinless and the boneless, but I mean, adding the bones, would that just require more cooking time, or is it just a case of you have to just check and cut the chicken open to see the colour?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I was actually doing chicken thighs and drumsticks on the pan last night, and it's absolutely fine. You just have to make sure it's cooked through about 20-25 minutes on the pan, and you should be good.
Okay.
Because we will be cooking it in the no-lac in our sauce. So it will still cook absolutely fine.
Oh, well, speaking of no-lac, the combination of the pesto and the no-lac that Teresa is still going to put together, it's going to keep the chicken moist throughout the cooking process. So you can also use any of your favorite pesto flavors. What pesto are we going for today?
We are using tomato pesto. It's got so much flavor. It's lovely and rich, so I'll actually add that in now.
Okay.
And again, you could play around and use different pestos.
Want to use a basil pesto?
Oh, delicious. So pop that in and just let that cook for a minute or two. Just coat your chicken. It's going to
And
get
the
lovely and
beautiful
sticky.
thing is we've got those spices. I've had food before. You can taste when the food didn't cook enough.
Yes.
When the spices didn't cook through. It's got a powdery... You can taste the spices, but you can't taste the flavor that's supposed to come through.
Exactly, and that's why we cook it a little bit first, just to activate those spices, get them to release their flavors. So don't add everything in straight away. Give them a bit of time to do their thing.
Okay, so this is one of those dishes. You just need to be patient, but it's going to be simplistic in the sense that everything goes into one pot.
Right.
Now, you mentioned the nolac.
Yes, that's going to go in next.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
And this is amazing because, I mean, ordinarily you would have just used normal milk, but now we're going with nolac, lactose-free. We're going with a full cream milk because not only is this dish hearty and delicious, it is also packed with the goodness of dairy with a great source of calcium and vitamin C. And Clover Nolac full cream fresh milk, which we are using today, it is easy to digest, so you can also be free of discomfort that comes with being lactose intolerant.
Yeah, there we go. So that's pretty much our sauce. You're going to let that simmer down, it'll reduce, get a bit thicker. We're also going to add a bit of spinach, so that'll wilt into the sauce.
And we want that sauce to cook through a little bit before we add the spinach. This is closer to the end.
Yes, yes. Let it thicken a bit, let the chicken cook through, the spinach will go in, and then you can serve it with rice, with pasta. I love it with roasted vegetables, whatever you like. It's going to be delicious. I mean, look at that.
It is a hearty dish. We have some
amazing.
here. Oh, absolutely incredible. Now, if you think you might be lactose intolerant, head on over to Expresso's social pages and use the link to take the quick test. You can also be free with Nolac, Clover Nolac. Now, you can get this delectable and delicious recipe by simply heading over to our website, that is expressoshow.com.
Say goodbye to nausea and cramps and say hello to delicious freedom with Nolac's range of lactose-free milk and yogurt. Be free with lactose-free.
All right, so just a moment. We are going to check out what's trending on all of the social media platforms, and this is one of the biggest stories for me this year. The Springbok ladies have qualified for the World Cup. It's massive. We're going to delve into your reaction and what it means. And then very patriotically nodding his head beside me, Villi Vula is
so exciting, eh?
It is phenomenal. It's
Yes,
a massive, massive moment for women's sport and for the ladies who have given so much to this incredible game. And maybe to mark that celebration, Willem is going to perform for us. He's got new music and he cannot wait to just give you a little taste, and it's going to happen on your Feel Good Breakfast Show in just a moment. Stick around.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3. You are just in time as it's gone 8 o'clock. Let's take a final look at your headlines. Starting with national news. The National Sea Rescue Institute, the NSRI, has asked all vessels in the Cape Town area to look out for the fishing trawler Lepanto that has gone missing in the Atlantic Ocean. It had 20 crew members on board, of which 9 were rescued after they were found on a life raft shortly after the incident. Craig Labanon of the NSRI says although the official search has been called off, boats in the area are requested to continue a lookout for any sign of the missing vessel or the crew members. And Deputy Chief Justice Mandisa Maya is expected to face the Judicial Service Commission today in an interview to become the next Chief Justice. This comes ahead as the Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's retirement at the end of August. In February 2022, she was also interviewed for the position of Chief Justice. However, President Ramaphosa used his prerogative empowered by the Constitution to appoint Justice Zondo. She's now the sole candidate to be interviewed to take over from the outgoing Chief Justice on the 1st of September. Moving to news abroad, Ghana's parliament adjourned since March following a dispute between the speaker and the president over an anti-LGBT bill has reconvened and approved ministerial appointees and a World Bank loan. Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo Markin said the recall was in good faith to enable the government to discharge its constitutional and democratic obligations to the people. Lawmakers in February passed one of Africa's most restrictive anti-LGBT bills, but President Nana Akufo-Addo hasn't yet signed it into law. His office said it would wait for the outcome of 2 legal challenges to the bill. Israel and Hamas yesterday both angrily rejected moves to arrest their leaders for war crimes made before the International Criminal Court, that's the ICC, as heavy fighting raged in the Gaza Strip. The ICC's prosecutor Karim Khan said he'd applied for arrest warrants against top Israeli and Hamas leaders over the bloody conflict. Israel said the demand targeting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant was a historical disgrace, and Hamas strongly condemned the move against Qatar-based Ismail Haniyeh and Gaza chief Yahya Sinwar as well. And bringing it back home, a billionaire-backed non-profit has begun relocating captive-bred southern white rhinos in South Africa after acquiring the world's largest privately owned herd last year in Northwest Province. African Parks, supported by international foundations like Howard Buffett's and the Walton families, donated 40 of the 2,000 rhinos to the Muniwana Conservancy in KwaZulu-Natal. This is the first step in a plan to relocate 15% of global southern white rhino populations. African Parks, managing 22 conservation areas across 12 African countries, aims to restore rhinos to their natural ranges. African Parks plans to relocate some 300 rhinos annually. And to quote, they say the success of the rewilding these animals, rhinos depend on safe, effectively managed areas as Muniwana. And that is from Peter Fernhead, the CEO. Well, that's where I leave those morning headlines. Let's take a final look at your sport.
And let's start this final bulletin with a bang. Liverpool have a new manager, or at least as of the 1st of next month. Feyenoord coach Arne Slot has been confirmed as Jurgen Klopp's successor at Liverpool by the Premier League club officially. The 45-year-old Dutchman will assume the role of head coach on the 1st of June, pending his work permit. And although the club's statement did not detail the actual length of his contract, it has been widely reported that Slot has signed a 3-year deal. And Slot, who had announced his move to Anfield at his final pre-match press conference with Feyenoord on Friday, replaces Jurgen Klopp following the German's departure announcement in January. Some massive shoes to fill there, I think. Now let's bring it back home for rugby and building towards an exquisite final showdown. Griquas will be hosting the SA Cup final this week in Kimberley, facing the Pumas following the conclusion of the round-robin phase. So Griquas secured their home final by defeating the Cheetahs 39-17 in Bloemfontein, while the Pumas, they ensured their spot in that final with a 43-14 dominance over the Griffins at the Mbombela Stadium. The Griquas, who have been unbeaten this season, they topped the log with 45 points, hence they get to host the final, and the second place Pumas, they finished with 41 points. Very strong season as well. And that SA Cup final between the Griquas and Pumas will be staged on Saturday. That's this coming Saturday, the 25th of May, down in Kimberley. Get there if you can. Now we turn to the year's first Grand Slam and more positive signs for Rafa Nadal. He drew a substantial crowd at Roland Garros yesterday just for a training session, and that despite the uncertainty still surrounding his actual participation in the upcoming French Open. So the 14-time French Open champion, he practiced on centre court, attracting several thousand spectators. This marked his return to the Parisian clay court since his last title win back in 2022, when he played through the tournament, you might remember, with his left foot anaesthetized to manage the pain from Müller-Weiss syndrome, which is a chronic condition that he's endured since the age of 18. The French Open main draw gets underway on the 26th of May. Now, of course, a firm focus on athletics this year. Why? Because it's an Olympic year, and someone put her hand up yesterday. Prudence Sekgodiso delivered an outstanding performance, in fact, the best of her career at the Seoul Diamond League meet on African soil this season. For the 22-year-old, she dominated the women's 800 meters, maintaining control throughout the race and then making a decisive move down the home straight to outpace a very quick Ethiopian Olympic finalist, Habitam Alemu. And Sekgodiso's winning time of 1 minute 57.26 is very fast. Not only marked a significant personal best, but also secured her first Diamond League victory, and of course the pretty prize package that comes with it, and that set the fastest women's 800-meter time in the world this season, peaking at just the right time, I think. But that's where we leave our sport for this Tuesday morning. Let's take one last look at the roads.
Thanks, G. Let's take a look at your traffic in Bellville, Cape Town. There's congestion on the N1 outbound at Durban Road. Minor delays are expected. Add additional travel time. In Khayelitsha in Cape Town, there's been an accident northbound on Muway Bridge. The left lane is closed. Approach with caution. That's your traffic for this morning. Let's take a final look at your weather. And the South African Weather Service has again issued a yellow level 2 warning for damaging waves, cautioning that coastal users may be swept off low-lying rocks and face navigation difficulties at sea, particularly between Saldanha Bay and Cape Agulhas. Moreover, an extremely high fire danger warning has been issued again for the second day for the Beaufort West municipality in the Western Cape, the western and central parts of the Eastern Cape, and the central parts of the Northwest. In fact, the Northern Cape. Well, that is your weather update. Let's take a final look at your sunrise views. Rashmi from Sea Point shared a beautiful sunrise view. You can see the Cape Town promenade in the foreground. Well, thank you for that beautiful sunrise. If you would love to share yours, do so on our WhatsApp line. That number is 063-408-8863. Let's take a final look at your temperatures for this Tuesday. Oh, those are your temperatures for today.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for Uppington, just for you guys.
They don't know what winter is.
I don't think, well, no, maybe 32 is winter in Uppington, and I'm sorry, we belabor the point so much. We're going to have a little bit of fun right now, tapping into the most amazing kind of story arc that we've seen unfolding over the last couple of years. Our Springbok women did it. They, over the weekend, took the Rugby Africa Women's Cup title for a 4th time. But it had extra special significance. This means that our South African ladies have won all 4 editions of the Cup, which is great. The tournament concluded with South Africa giving the host nation a 46-17 thrashing. And albeit Antananarivo, not the most well-known rugby nation, but we needed to deliver in this moment because something very special has happened as a result.
Oh, well, listen, we couldn't be prouder of our ladies, so we thought let's celebrate by checking out one of our favorite tries of the game in their game versus Madagascar.
Oh, we love the free-flowing rugby, and we love the fact that they are now going to be going to the Rugby World Cup as a result. And we've got to, I think, send a special mention to the core of that team. There have been so many stalwarts that have I think, given so much, and one in particular, our most capped South African women's player, team captain Nolisandiso Boy. She is 38 years old. She's earned 45 caps. In fact, it was her 45th in that match. But she has been the stalwart of this team through the non-professional era.
Oh.
When your top-tier sports person has to have another job to be able to facilitate their sporting role. For so many years, so many players in that team have had to do that for the right to play rugby, which is a crazy thing to me. And they've gotten themselves now to the point of competing against the best in the Rugby World Cup, which is amazing. Man.
Absolutely incredible. So we have Zanele also joining us for this conversation. Zanele, how incredible are our Springbok women?
Come on.
Oh, my goodness. Family, I'm absolutely beside myself. You know what? I feel like when people say no RSA, or rather no DNA, just RSA, it's because, my friend, we have got winning in our veins. We are 100% champions at heart. And this is why we continue to take it to the top. And I think that our ladies are going to make us so proud. I mean, even that moment that we just watched, that was clinical. And I feel like if they take that and they take it to the World Cup, we're going to come out champions yet again.
I absolutely love it. And I want to put this to you because I know you've had a front row seat to some of the biggest moments in women's sport at the moment, obviously involved with the World Cup when it came to netball. What we've seen our ladies do within the cricket space during the T20 World Cup seemed to spark a new narrative within women's sport where more young girls and women are interested in these sports because they're seeing themselves represented. They're seeing the ladies do things that have never been done before, just like the fastest ball that's ever been bowled. This feels like the time for not just women's rugby, but for all women's sport. As someone who has had a front row seat and has, I suppose, played your part in bringing the sport to the fore, how do you feel about where women's sport is right now?
Oh, man, Graham, that's such a beautiful question, and thank you for posing it. I definitely feel like we are in such a beautiful space in terms of women's sport. I remember last year, because of everything that was happening from the Cricket World Cup to the Netball World Cup and everything else in between, as SABC and SABC Sport, we named it the Year of Women's Sport, and it was all about #GameChangeHer. And I think that that's what it was about. Last year was a game changer indeed, because just like you're saying, so many young people were able to see themselves represented and see themselves on a world stage because it was happening in our backyard, which was in Cape Town, of course, with the Netball World Cup. And I think that that just opened everyone's eyes so much more, especially the young girl in South Africa. And I feel like it's also one of the things where, as each and every time we continue to give women's sports so much more light, it is so beautiful that so many more young people are able to be inspired, but also able to be shown that it is possible. And it's not just netball, it's not just cricket, it's badminton, it's swimming, it's every single one of the sports, because some of the sports seem to sometimes, you know, fall by the wayside. But I think that so many doors are opening. I feel like so many eyes are being opened. And for me, I feel like last year, yes, we named it the Year of Women in Sport. And I said it literally at the SA Sport Awards that for me, each and every year after that is going to continue to be the Year of Women in Sport, because we'll continue to celebrate our ladies, but we will also continue to be sure that every single one of them are getting the platform that they deserve. And to what you were saying, Graham, that hopefully each and every one of them can also be professional 100%.
Yeah. And it's TV time. We need to achieve qualification for these massive events so that our girls can be on TV, so they can warrant the money being pumped into the structures. So they are ticking every box. Now we have to go and deliver. The sponsors have to step up. The structures need to back them, but we could not be prouder. Zanele, thank you so much for playing your part in driving women's sport within this country. Let's call it the era of women's sport. Forget the year, forget the decade. This is the era of women's sport, and we could not be more proud.
I love that. Oh, Graham, you see, we need more people like you who see the vision, who know that it's what needs to happen, and who understand that this is the time indeed. Thank you, my Graham.
Oh, man. And she has played such a brilliant role in her position, bringing the sport to the people. And that's why I love SABC Sport, because it's for everybody. So power to the people. Absolutely love that.
Oh, well, listen, taking the stage right now to perform his latest single, 2010, is Villi Vula.
Goeiemôre Suid-Afrika. Hier is my nuwe song, se naam is 2010. Hey! Ek onthou nog 'n somer toe ek jou daar sien. Ek met my kamers en jy met jou faded jean aan. Daai somer was 19 en dronk verlief in 2010. Daar was stoute jonge domme, ons was alles in een. Daar was Pieter, kaal gat in die reën. Keier, vryer, weier, want geen ie was te laat. En ons dans so lekker, doen het in ons slaap. Hokkai, stop die lorry, dans op kaptein, jy sal my nie meer nie. Dis verby my sonskyn, maar baby chocolates, my knie raak lam as jy, soos bloed in my vloei en ons weer terug verlang na, na, oh my Carleen, nee, sokkie beter soos in studente, ons is uit elke aand. Daai hele jaar het gevoel soos 'n maand, jy my dromer. Sedertdien bly ek verlang na 2010. Daar was stoute jonger dommer, ons was alles in een. Daar was beter, kaal gat in die reën. Buite keier, vryer, weier, want geen ie was te laat. En ons dans so lekker, doen het in ons slaap. Hokkai, stop die lorry, dans op kaptein, jy sal my nie meer nie. Dis verby my sonskyn, maar baby chocolates, my knie raak lam as jy, soos bloed in my vloei en ons weer terug verlang na, oh my Carleen, nee, sokkie beter soos in 2010 verlang na, wanneer kan ek jou sien? Ons kan die sokkies soos in 2010. Stoute jonge domme, ons was alles in een. Daar was Pieter, kaal gat in die reën. Buite keier, vryer, weier, want geen ie was te laat. En ons dans so lekker, doen het in ons slaap. Stop die lorry, dans op kaptein, jy stoel my nie meer nie. Dis verby my sonskyn, maar baby chocolates, my knie raak lam as jy, soos bloed in my vloei en ons weer terug verlang na, oh my Carleen, nee, sokkie beter soos in 2010 verlang na, wanneer kan ek
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3. Tuesdays are a busy day. We focus on health. We focus on fashion. Today, we're also focusing on relationships, and we have a bit of a dilemma, and I'm going to share that with you.
Okay.
So here is our dilemma. This lady wrote saying, my now fiance is the type of guy to go overboard and cross the line with being fun and spontaneous, especially when he's intoxicated. Now, he was recently out with his friends to celebrate our engagement, and I just found out by a girl messaging me on social media that he slept with her on a night out when they were both intoxicated. I'm extremely hurt by this. Do I confront him for the truth, or do I just pack my things and leave the engagement? What do I do?
Well, I know we are all reaching for answers right now, and all of our bias is jumping on board this little ship, so we're going to need the professionals, I think, to step in and here to give us their professional advice. It's Danielle Meyer. She is an HPCSA registered mental health counsellor and a good friend on the show. And then Obisa Ngalo, a social worker and office manager from the incredible FAMSA. That's Family South Africa Western Cape, who do incredible work where it matters most. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Can of worms.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to prefix this because I've been through a similar situation, albeit not with the well, maybe there was the intoxication element, but the infidelity, the being cheated on, and sadly it was a line in the sand that I could not come back from, and it's defined how I've had every relationship after that in terms of the boundaries I set. Going into a relationship, is there a way you can preload through setting your boundaries, through talking about the kind of person that you are, surely getting to the point of an engagement, you understand each other's nature, and you're having those honest conversations about what the danger areas are, what I'm good at, where I need you to help, those sorts of things. Does this conversation come into that boundary setting conversation and that initial connection? Danielle, how are you feeling about this scenario?
No, definitely. I think there's such an importance around boundary setting, especially, you know, when it comes to a situation like
Albeit
this.
you wouldn't think that you would have to tell your partner sleeping with other people is a no-no, but hence maybe it is.
And that's why it's such an important conversation to venture into within a relationship. And so the benefits of boundaries is that it actually creates a safe space and also helps to create that sense of accountability between yourself and your partner. And it helps to build that sense of trust and transparency and communicating what it is that you actually, you know, need and expect within the relationship.
I.e. when the buzz kicks in, get in a taxi and go home, like that
Exactly.
kind of thing. And when we say
Yes.
boundaries, it's not expecting the other person to be under your control, or it's more knowing what you're like, being honest about that, so you can have an action plan.
Definitely.
Yes.
Kobisa, I'm maybe going to ask you this. I feel like in situations like this, it's so easy to blame the alcohol, but there is a lot of your own behavior that's perhaps amplified or enhanced through alcohol.
True.
What would you recommend for the person in this scenario when it comes to, you know, the intoxication and the mistrust that now comes from that? Is it something that clearly it needs to be addressed, but how does she start to do that?
All right. So obviously that needs to be addressed, but not when there's intoxication.
Yeah.
So you have to wait until
Not
this
in the
person
peak,
is in sober minds, and then you can start having the communication about it, right? And so that we can be both in good terms of what is expected of us, what are the limits when it comes to alcohol, because we cannot say people mustn't drink. However, there's a way of drinking, and as a couple you have to decide on what are the limits when it comes to alcohol.
Know thine enemy.
Yes. Yes. So I would say that it's very important to address it, but obviously when people are sober, because alcohol has got this way of distorting the judgment. You don't make good decisions when you're under the influence of alcohol.
You never make good decisions.
Yes.
Well, hoping that you are not on that train right now, we'd love to hear from you. If you want to weigh in, if you have any questions or possibly a personal perspective, head over to our socials, use our WhatsApp line. We'll keep that number up throughout the conversation. You can be anonymous if you want. This is a safe place, but it's an opportunity to maybe step outside of the drama that's going on, because I think far too often when these things hit, all of your baggage kicks in. And all of us have something, and this will be a massive, massive trigger. In your heart of hearts, professionally, when you look at the baseline of your success stories when working with couples in particular, Do we focus on the alcohol and addressing that as being one of the elements that exacerbates this? Do we focus on the relationship first? Do we get practical and look for like a quick bandage to put on, i.e. just take the alcohol out of the equation?
Yeah.
Or do we need to take a deeper, more long-term kind of view on understanding each other? How do you approach this particular battle, do you think?
I think it's such a layered story and kind of multifaceted when it comes to this kind of dilemma and stresses. But, you know, before anything else, we are individuals before we are part of something else. And so it's kind of addressing, look, what are things that I struggle with? What are maybe some unhealthy habits that I'm struggling with? What is my partner struggling with? Let's have that conversation and kind of understanding that. And then also understanding, you know, learning about substance abuse, if that's something that's, you know, now entered into the relationship as a stressor within the relationship, and kind of navigating and working your way through it.
Get the tools, but that speaks to a collaborative effort to move forward as opposed to one trying to dominate or force or push. Or,
Yeah.
Well, she mentioned they're engaged, they're at the start of their engagement, which naturally would lead to the start of your marriage. What are the ramifications if she does not address this now in her relationship?
Sure. Obviously, this relationship, there's no base. There's no, it's going to affect them in the long run of this relationship. So it's very important to address these while you are getting into it before the relationship goes into the next stages. So it can get the relationship to be very intoxicated and not a safe space for you to be in, because you know there are issues that were never addressed, or there are issues that you never got to understand about this person that you are staying with or that you are about to stay with. So it's very important to talk about these things before you get into the marriage.
The foundation, because you will work on it. That's the joy of being married, is you actually get practical about working on yourself, working together to improve yourselves. And it can be hectic and it can get quite ugly because you're addressing your childhood trauma, all of those things. So you need to be clear. And maybe that's the first step towards building trust again, because you can't force another person to be trustworthy. You can just offer them an example or you can show. So how does that trust conversation begin? And let's maybe take it to the person who's transgressed here. How do they go about proving to their partner that they can be trusted in those situations once that line has been crossed?
Yeah, so
Is it possible?
So it is possible, but it's going to take a lot of work. So obviously, time, work. When it comes to infidelity, unfortunately, the trust has been broken. And so now we're moving from that place of anxiousness and kind of fear-based. So that partner that, you know, he's hurt her in this particular scenario, he now needs to adhere to those behavioral changes that he's promising he's going to make.
You don't tell, you show. Eh?
Yeah, you show. Change behavior is, I believe change behavior is kind of the best apology and kind of correct what it is.
Pretty much the only apology that really
in
works.
this situation,
for sure.
definitely, and kind of have that open communication as you're trying to rebuild that trust within the relationship.
And that's going to take a lot of work. Well, ladies, don't go anywhere. We still have so much to unpack with this. Please share your thoughts with us. Perhaps you want to stay anonymous. You want to be part of this conversation. Voice note us on 063 408 8863. We'll be right back after the break.
There are stories of strivers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters. ABSA.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to our Relationship Tuesday. Oh, and we're chewing on some gristle this morning. We're getting to those relationship dilemmas, and this morning's reads like this. My now fiancé is the type of guy to go overboard and cross the line with being fun and spontaneous, especially when he's intoxicated. And he was recently out with his friends to celebrate our engagement, and I just found out by a girl messaging me on social media that he slept with her on a night out, and they were both obviously heavily intoxicated. I'm extremely hurt by this. Do I confront him for the truth, or do I just pack my things up and leave the engagement? What do I do? And with the unenviable task of answering that question, we brought in the pros. We've got HPCSA registered mental health counsellor Danielle Meyer and Obisa Ngalo, a social worker and office manager from the incredible FAMSA. And we want to get into a couple of comments. And again, we have to kind of prefix this whole thing that this is probably the most triggering relationship conversation that you could have. So take these comments with a pinch of salt, but let's see what you guys are saying online.
Okay, Bianca came through and said, that happened to me. I still married him, didn't trust him. Every time he walked out the door or on his phone, I didn't trust him. It took me 4 years to walk away because the cheating didn't stop. Please do not waste your time. Find a guy who loves God, who loves himself and knows his role as a man. If he loves God, he will know how to love you. Too many broken men in the world not getting help. You can walk away. Bianca, thank you for sharing that. I can imagine it, like we said, this is triggering. She went through with the marriage and eventually realized that this behavior did not stop. Getting married doesn't necessarily mean that person's behavior is going to stop.
Is there a fail-safe in this sense? And I say this on behalf of the person who was so madly in love with this person who has sold them out in this way, that we can find our way back. And I ask this again with a different angle, because I have friends whose relationships could not be stronger, and both of them have had issues on either side of that over a relationship that has spanned most of their life. They are so much better for it because they've gotten over the notion that they own each other, that their happiness is the other person's responsibility. They have let go of so much of what we feel is a relationship when we're trying to feed off our partner in that sense. Is there a way that this can be turned into that positive moment of let's get real, be honest about who we are, take accountability and move forward? I say that with great hope, but even as the words come out my mouth, I don't believe it's possible. Danielle, is there a way back?
Look, like you said, it takes accountability. It takes accountability actually acknowledging what's going on. And you need to have those conversations with your partner about, you know, commitment clarity if need be. What does this commitment need to you, and how far are you willing to actually invest and work through some of those stresses and issues? But I mean, you know, as that comment said, she mentioned that I actually didn't trust him. Every time he walked out the door, I was struggling to trust him. And she mentioned there's so many broken men out there. But also, it starts with your self-worth and your self-value. And how you actually see yourself, because that's also going to shape.
If you're willing to accept that or not for yourself.
And it shapes your decision making in the relationship as well. So I think that plays into it.
It definitely plays into it. We actually received a voice note, so let's take a listen to this one. I believe it's anonymous. Good morning.
Goeiemôre. Ek was in dieselfde situasie meer as 40 jaar terug. En ek was in 'n verhouding met my man op daardie stadium, en hy was baie lieve girl, soos hulle sê, en ook rondgeslaap. En toe ek swanger geraak, en voor ons getrou het ons dit uitgepraat, en ek het my boundaries geset. I set my own boundaries, and we were married for 40 years before he died in 2019. So it's all about communication, respect, trust. Yeah, there will be trust issues all the time, but if you make the decision to stay in that relationship and work hard towards it, and don't listen to friends and family and stuff, it can work. Thank you.
Thank you,
Well, there's your proof. 40 years
40 years.
worth of proof. I'd love to have her here to ask her a few questions to kind of qualify what she's saying here. But that's got to fill you with hope that you can achieve it. But it speaks to what sounds like 40 years of working at it. And that's a relationship is not something that you're given. It's something that you strive for and work towards, yes?
Yes, that's true. So you have to put an effort to make it work. And it requires the two of you.
Yeah.
So if you make a decision of staying in that relationship, then you have to be in for working hard for that. And especially the person that has done the cheating, you have to earn your trust by the actions that you are doing. So like she's saying that I don't trust him when he's on his phone, then I have to be transparent about what am I doing in the phone.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest about my every move in this relationship.
That's the trade. Unfortunately, that's the trade-off, yeah.
So where would, in our dilemma that we presented, where do they now need to start?
Well, I think, sure, it's such a tricky one because, you know, everyone has different opinions and feelings. But I think with this one specifically, you know, what I liked about the voice note is that she empowered herself in that
she didn't
situation.
wait for something to
she
happen.
didn't wait. She said, I set my boundaries. I invested in my mental health and how I'm actually going to put that line or those lines in place. And actually, she did hold him accountable to those behavioral changes. So I think for this situation, she needs to invest in her mental health, put herself first and empower herself in the situation and say, listen, this is what I need if I'm going to move forward.
Yeah.
But before even all of that, you know, prioritize her mental health first because she is hurting right now. And I'm sure it feels like it just happened the other day. So she's still working through
And the problem is you relive it every time you have an intimate moment or you engage with your partner in that sense. That's the joy of this kind of baggage in a relationship. Well, I am feeling, admittedly, just a tiny bit more hopeful than when we began this conversation for all those out there, and there are many. I think maybe a first practical step, and you can take the emotional edge off by focusing on things like the alcohol, all those mitigating circumstances that often are the tipping point in these situations as that first step. But I would suggest very strongly that you hold the mirror up first, do that deep dive, as our incredible women have said today. Take a look at yourself and what you need, what your boundaries are. The answer might be sitting right there before you've even engaged with your partner. But just make sure you don't get swept up in the emotion of it. Just try to think clearly about what you deserve, what you're worth, and what you need. And good luck, because it is a tricky one.
It is.
Oh man, I love Relationship Tuesday. I feel like, you know what, as the people who are single, such as myself, we get a little bit out of it in terms of, you know, what's to come for the future, okay? Speaking of the future, we need to jump on into what's coming up and why you still need to stick around all the way until 9 a.m. First and foremost, Villi Vula is going to be performing, my lovely, ending things off on a high note. And before we go anywhere, we also need to leave you with one more recipe, and it is crispy chicken katsu. It is all coming up right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. We're going to jump on into a break, but we'll be back on the other side of this.
Attention, all you passionate young chefs in the making. Are you between the ages of 13 and 17? Do you love making magic in the kitchen? Then this is your chance to shine on TV. Enter to be a contestant on the Tastemaster SA Junior, made with love by Clover, and stand a chance to win 150,000 Rand. WhatsApp a video showing us your baking skills or enter on the tastemaster.co.za. Entries close 31st May. T's and C's apply.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast show. And if you did not hear, Powerball and Powerball Plus is 71 million rand in total estimated jackpots today, but you have to win. In fact, you have to play in order to win big. Now, you can play Powerball for an estimated 49 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 22 million rand. But as always, if you want to win, you need to play, and there are so many ways for you to get your tickets. Buy them in store, buy them online at the nationallottery.co.za website or through the mobile app. You can also buy your tickets through your cell phone banking or by dialing *120 *7529# for USSD. If you feel like I've said those details too fast, don't worry. We also have it available on Expresso Show's social media pages, so you can simply go and check it out and have all those details at the push of a button. But you have to panda, push or play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 71 million rand in total estimated jackpots today, and who knows, you could become a multi-millionaire.
Next big question on my mind, what's a Katsu? Because the independent elements that are going to be brought together by Teresa look so delicious. The flavor profiles look amazing. There's crunchiness, there's texture. I think this is going to be a special one. And at its heart, Farmer Brown's Nourish range. There is something for every taste bud in there, literally. And we're going to have a little bit of fun whipping up what looks like a bowl. We are putting a spin on a beloved Japanese dish, combining Farmer Brown's Nourish sourdough chicken strips, which are amazing, and a flavor-packed sauce with this crispy chicken katsu, served with sautéed edamame beans, a rich mayo sauce, and then fresh, vibrant ingredients. This dish is guaranteed to be a weeknight, weekday, weekend favorite. And Teresa is here to show us how it all comes together. So I think we can swap places.
Swap over, yes.
So great to see you again, my friend.
Well. It's been a
Really, really
while.
awesome. This is hands down the healthiest thing you've ever made with me on the show. And I give you a lot of stick because you are the sweet treat queen, which we love you for, so don't change, okay? But this is cool. This is ticking so many boxes.
And this is the kind of food we love eating at home. It's fresh, there's the texture, there's the flavor. I mean, I'm just standing here smelling the aroma from all these bowls. It's incredible.
It's the flavor bazooka, as I have termed it.
Yes.
So I'm here to ably help you as much as I can. Well,
Awesome.
I don't know about the ably, but willingly help
Do
you
you
as
want
much
to
as I can.
pop our chicken on the tray there? We can get that in the oven. And I'm going to
Right.
start on the sauce. So this is a very easy sauce, but so much flavor. We've got soya sauce, we've got sesame oil. I'm going to add some honey in here.
Oh, I
And
love
a
it, because
bit
you've got to get the balance.
ginger.
It always comes out as funkiness for me, but it's the funkiness is represented by the sweet, the sour, the salty, the umami combining in that way. You want to have a balance of flavors, especially with an Asian style cooking. There's a lot of big flavors, so you've got to get the balance right.
Got to get it right, yeah. So you pop that all into your saucepan, and then you're going to reduce that down before you add your edamame beans.
I'm going to make the whole lot because I can.
Let's go for it. Yeah, we can pop that in the oven.
We can feed the masses.
Yes, and that's going to give us our crunch.
Oh, completely. And these are perfect for the air fry as well, but we're going to do them au natural in the oven.
Perfect.
Absolutely love that. Thank
pop
you,
them in?
Farmer Brown.
Brilliant.
There we go,
and
my
then
dear.
that part is sorted. So easy. Okay.
I love it. And for me, this is the sourdough crumb extraordinaire. Farmer Brown's Nourish range is crumbed chicken with a difference. You've seen how many different recipes we've pushed the boat out with these guys. You can now enjoy 100%, and I stress that, 100% breast fillets and 100% South African chicken. That gives you the confidence and obviously the great taste. And these chicken strips are coated in a flavorful blend of, get this, dried wheat sourdough crumb, which just feels amazing. The mouthfeel is just incredible. Paprika, onion, and parsley. So half the battle is already fought for you.
So much
just with our
flavour.
beautiful chicken strips.
Brilliant, yeah. So basically, you'll let your sauce reduce down, you'll pop your beans in, and it's going to get sticky. Your beans will cook through, and then you'll set that to one side.
Oh, and they actually turn dark like that. I love that.
Yeah. It looks so amazing, and the flavour is going to be incredible. So we'll let that do its thing. And then we're
Awesome.
going to make some spicy mayo.
Okay.
Which I love. This is great on all sorts of things. So such a great recipe just to have in your back pocket.
I love this. I love the ability to kind of have all of these different elements in one tasting plate. Is just amazing to me.
Yeah. So we've got our mayo. We're going to add some sriracha.
Yes, please.
And here you can adjust according to your taste. So maybe the kids don't like it too spicy. You can tone it down, tone it up.
I'm
as
finding
you
if you
feel.
introduce spice in the right way, not just heat, but rather the strong flavor spice. And I find my daughter very much follows my taste buds in that sense. And we actually caught her. She ate a pasta the other day, some leftover pasta that had bird's eye chilies in
That's
it. And didn't even bat
amazing.
an
Oh,
eyelid,
my
I know.
word.
So
I
she's
haven't got that
hardcore,
far,
okay?
but-
All of 4 years old in that sense. But
That's amazing.
well, we've had to learn with cooking for them that you can't always just go for the heat. And I do love a hot chili.
Yeah,
The fun happens when you can build that flavor up as a spiciness, as a strong flavor.
That's what we do, sort of very mild curries, and we gradually build their flavour. Yeah,
I'm going to say
palate
their
towards
immunity
it.
to the heat.
Exactly. So I added some soy sauce, some honey, and then some chili flakes. Again, you can choose if you want to add that or not. Super simple, and that's our spicy mayo.
I love that.
So easy.
And you've got the smokiness of the sriracha, which does have that natural inclination. I'm finding smoked chili flakes have become my go-to for just about everything, even on eggs in the morning.
Brilliant.
Beautiful, but there's like a continuity. Despite using all these crazy different flavor profiles, there is like a thread weaving between them. Beautiful.
No, it's incredible. And then once your chicken's out, we do have some cooked chicken there. You build your bowl. So we put some rice at the bottom.
I love it.
Chicken strips, your mayo, your edamame beans, and then we can add avo, poppy seeds, cucumber strips, spring onion.
I love that,
Just
the little
build it with
the
all your
toasted
favourites.
sesame seeds for an extra
Yes.
crunch. I think to get a bowl like this perfectly right, you've got to think about texture and flavor.
Exactly.
Because too much of any one thing is going to be too much. But to have the freshness, the pop of the cucumber there, to add that, to lighten it up, the avo, to add those good fats. You've got some substance there with the beautiful rice. And of course the edamame beans, just to make it look zhuzh and extra special, like
Just
you've
be
literally
fancy.
stepped off a plane from Japan and you've brought the street home food with you, or the street food home with you. I love the flavor combinations, and at its heart, a really good quality protein. I think the family will love this, and maybe it's an opportunity to teach your kids how to use the chopsticks as well.
Good point.
This is beautiful. You can find this recipe on expressoshow.com, and this is a great jumping off point. If you want to get out there and have a little bit of fun yourself, we want to see pictures, we want to see videos. The bottom line is, when you eat good, we feel good. So now is the time to make that shift. Discover the Farmer Brown Nourish range for yourself. Between the strips and their unbelievable fillets, there will be something that your family is going to love. In fact, they'll probably love the whole range. So go have some fun. And an added bonus, you stand a chance of winning a hamper valued at 6,000 Rand. Maybe I should have opened with that. Simply reply to the competition post on that's the Expresso social media pages, and tell us what your favorite feel-good recipe with @Farmer Brown South Africa is. And don't forget the qualifying hashtag. It's the all-important Farmer Brown Way. And that competition closes on the 16th of June at midnight. I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of entries for this one, so make sure you're on it, and you can check out the T's and C's at expressoshow.com. No one's allowed to touch that bowl. It looks so beautiful. Teresa, you're an absolute superstar. Next time, a cake, please.
Okay,
Or at least some
we'll make a plan.
brownies or crispy
Bit of sugar.
treats.
Oh, well, we are taking a quick break on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. When we get back, we have the incredible Villi Vula with us, and he's ready to bring us another performance to make sure your Tuesday starts on the right note. So don't go anywhere. He'll be right back.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, it's been such a frenetic show. We thought, let's just take a moment, okay? Just take a breath, just pause. I'm going to refresh just a little bit because we kind of need to build our energy up for one last very special element.
Oh, we are so excited. Villi Vula on your Feel Good Breakfast show gave us such incredible sound checks, a brilliant first performance, and he is ready with another one. So we can't wait to just sit back, relax, and enjoy breakfast.
Villi, cheers to you, my brother.
So hier is een van die songs wat ek doen in die Boys Are Back show. Dis natuurlik Mandy.
I remember all my life raining down as cold as ice, shadows of a man face through a window and crying in the night. The night goes into morning, just another day. Happy people pass my way, but looking in their eyes I see a memory. I never realized how happy you made me. Oh Mandy, when you gave and you gave without taking, but I send you away. Oh Mandy, will you kiss me and stop me from shaking? But I need you today. Oh Mandy. I'm standing on the edge of time. I walked away when love was blind, but caught up in a world of uphill climbing. Tears are on my mind and nothing is rhyming. Oh Mandy, well you gave and you gave without taking, but I send you away. Oh Mandy, will you kiss me and stop me from shaking? But I need you today. Oh Mandy. Yesterday's a dream. I face the morning, crying on the breeze. The pain is calling. Oh Mandy, well you came and you gave without taking, but I send you away. Oh Mandy, will you kiss me and stop me from shaking? But I need you today. Oh Mandy, when you came and you gave without taking, but I send you away. Oh Mandy, when you kiss me and stop me from shaking, but I need you. Oh Mandy, won't you listen to what I gotta say? Oh Mandy, don't you let me throw it away. Oh Mandy, won't you listen to what I gotta say? But I need you today. Oh Mandy. Oh Mandy.
Oh Mandy, oh Villi, you absolute beaut. Thank you so much for two incredible performances. Just so good to connect with you. Come and join us in the kitchen, young man, and enjoy your rewards. We love the fact that we get to feed, and this morning it's nice and healthy, bud. So we are watching the calories because you are just that kind of guy, it seems. Buddy, how have you enjoyed the show today, man?
I must say, every time, I've been here since 2010. Actually, it was my first time on, or January of 2011.
Oh.
And being back every time it just keeps getting better. So thanks for having me.
Well, just like you, my friend, just like you. We are loving the phase of
That
your life.
is yours.
Go.
Here is
I'm
the
taking
spoon.
this.
Are you taking the... Oh,
Yes. No, you're allowed to. And the golden
Get
monkey
that.
behind you, you can take it all. No, it's been an amazing week, and we're going to continue on that trend. We love campaigns like this. Good Hope FM are going to keep Cape Town warm, and that's what we're going to plug in tomorrow, how we can help them in their efforts to just ease the suffering of so many.
Definitely, and we have to also say goodbye to Zanele. Thank you for a fantastic show.
We love you,
Zanele,
girl.
we love you. We'll see you South Africa tomorrow, and don't forget, it's also the Culinary Hotline.
Yeah, Willem, we love you guys. We
Bye.
love you. Adios.
Bye, Ella. Okay.
That's yours.
Sure, and it looks good, eh?
Another feel-good production.
Say goodbye to nausea and cramps and say hello to delicious freedom with Nolax range of lactose-free milk and yogurt. Be free with lactose-free.